My daily life in a TV series. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 817 Sheldon's, New Jersey. Adam invited Peggy to watch the wonderful play being rehearsed in his interesting brain. Over there, Pasadena, California. Late at night, Sheldon tossed and turned in bed. For a long time, he finally fell asleep. In his dream, Sheldon, wearing a t-shirt with 9 planets printed on the chest, sat on a throne with a strong sci-fi color, holding a signed-in book in his hand. Looking around, I declare that the Sheldon Council will hold a regular meeting now, and start calling the roll. Scientist Sheldon. Here, a Sheldon in a white coat sat obediently in a smaller seat on the left and nodded in agreement. Texas Sheldon. Over here, a Sheldon in a cowboy suit and a cowboy hat sat in a smaller seat on the right, stretched out his hand to lift the cowboy hat on his head, opened his thighs, and agreed very casually. Fanatical fan Sheldon. Greetings. The second person on the left, Sheldon in a Star Trek Spock uniform, stretched out his right hand and opened it, with his index and middle fingers together, and his ring and pinky fingers together, and responded with this classic Vulcan salute that represents endless life and prosperity. Misophobic Sheldon. Just talk, don't spit. The second person on the right, Sheldon in a full set of protective clothing, pushed his hand towards the main body of the throne. Sheldon, reminding the main body far away not to speak so hard to prevent spitting and spreading germs. What is it that even you can't stand? This is it. Where is the athlete Sheldon? Ha ha ha. The third person on the left, Sheldon with the classic red ball of the clown on his nose, laughed. Don't be ridiculous. Funny Sheldon. The main body Sheldon on the throne shook his head with a serious face. Come on. Funny Sheldon thought he was very humorous, and was afraid that his fellow consciousness entities would not understand, so he explained, this is funny, because Sheldon has never liked sports, let alone being an athlete. Do you understand the joke now? Got it? Got it? Ha ha ha. Then who am I? With a burst of sparks and lightning, a flash, Sheldon appeared on the third seat on the right and smiled at funny Sheldon. Incredible. Scientist Sheldon in a white coat stood up first, and exclaimed to the main body of the throne, you finally differentiated out Flash Sheldon? Is this the reason why you held a regular meeting of the board of directors today? Great. As he said, he walked to Flash Sheldon, and kept looking around him, as if he was studying how to analyze it. Dude, that's cool. Texas Cowboy Sheldon also stood up and nodded to Flash Sheldon. If I shoot now, can you really catch it? You can try. Flash Sheldon's body flashed with lightning, and he raised the revolver in his hand and smiled at Texas Cowboy Sheldon. But the premise is that you still have the gun. So cool. Texas Cowboy Sheldon pointed at Flash Sheldon. I like you, and I agree that you join the standing meeting. To be honest, only outstanding Sheldon like us is qualified to sit here. This misophobia Sheldon should have been kicked out of the standing council like the timid weakling Sheldon. I agree. But can this guy be kicked out too? Fanatical fan Sheldon looked at the funny Sheldon beside him unhappily. We can support each other later. Maybe we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Texas Cowboy Sheldon was very happy, and then encouraged everyone. Guys, when the time comes, we should make more seats to welcome more Sheldons who are as interesting as Flash Sheldon. Wouldn't it be good? Hey, 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 Sheldon, the main body of the throne, clapped his hands in dissatisfaction. I am the chairman, only I can propose the agenda of the meeting, and today's agenda is whether everyone agrees to grant Flash Sheldon a seat on the board of directors. Need I say that? Of course I agree. Texas Cowboy Sheldon was the first to raise his hand. If he lets me study it, I agree. The scientist Sheldon in the white coat laughed. He also likes to laugh. I like him. Funny Sheldon honked the horn, pointed to his red ball nose, and then pointed to Flash Sheldon. I don't know. Crazy fan Sheldon looked at the main body Sheldon in a tangled manner and said, who do you like the most? If he comes in, will I still exist? Is he clean? Misophobia Sheldon looked at Flash Sheldon scrutinizingly and shook his head. I don't feel very good. That's why I hesitated. Throne main body Sheldon frowned and said, In addition to being Flash, he is also Birdman. What? Everyone shouted out in unison, especially Misophobia Sheldon, whose voice trembled, and he quickly stood up and moved away from Flash. Sheldon, are you talking about a serious Birdman? Funny, Sheldon laughed, because in my limited knowledge of Eastern Chinese, there are also indecent Birdmen. That's what I wanted to ask. Texas Cowboy Sheldon chuckled. No, Misophobia Sheldon screamed in horror. I absolutely do not agree. If you, Chairman, dare to agree, I will definitely summon all the Sheldons, including the cowardly Sheldon, to hold a general meeting of the Sheldons to overthrow you. You should know how many supporters I have. The face of the main Sheldon on the throne sank. This is also the reason for his entanglement. Although the cowardly Sheldons only have one seat, the misophobic Sheldon, at the executive meeting. But once the general enlarged meeting is held, a series of cowardly Sheldons, such as Sheldon who is afraid of birds, Sheldon who is afraid of water, Sheldon who is afraid of sheep, Sheldon who is afraid of black, Sheldon who is afraid of cockroaches, account for more than 99% of all the Sheldons. If it weren't for the fact that the cowardly Sheldons are all very timid and dare not come forward, let alone rebel, he, the main Sheldon on the throne, would have been driven off long ago. Hey, guys, don't do this. Flash Birdman Sheldon had a great spotted woodpecker in his hand, showing it to many Sheldons. The bird is so cute. As long as you touch it, you will fall in love with it like me. I will never die. Misophobic Sheldon screamed. Calm down. Throne subject Sheldon hurriedly comforted him. Never. Misophobic Sheldon shouted, get rid of him quickly, or I will call for help. As his screams went up level, countless Sheldons appeared timidly and surrounded the venue. Although they were all very cowardly and timid, they still narrowed the encirclement step by step under the call of misophobic Sheldon. This is all Adam's fault. Throne subject Sheldon saw that his council was in chaos and he might be overthrown from the supreme throne of rule, and he couldn't help but say hatefully, I will never allow this to happen. Never. With his roar, all the Sheldons retreated, and after a white light, Sheldon woke up from his dream. Peace. There is only one update today, and tomorrow's update will be postponed to 14:30, with 3 updates. Chapter 802 Flash Sheldon, I'm not here to destroy this family, I'm here to join it. Late at night, Adam was enthusiastically showing his imagination to Peggy. Ding-ling-ling. The phone suddenly rang. Don't worry about him. Adam glanced at the caller. As a doctor, he knew who the call was from, but he still couldn't help but take a look. After all, human life is at stake. Sheldon? Peggy looked back at Adam. Adam nodded. Hurry up and answer it. Peggy smiled and said, you've made him so angry this time. He will keep calling if you don't answer. Okay. Adam could actually choose to just hang up the phone and let Sheldon keep calling, but he was worried that he would make Sheldon anxious. Spasms at the corners of the eyes and twitching at the corners of the mouth are all signs of a stroke. Hi, Sheldon. I hate you. As soon as the phone was connected, Sheldon's angry and aggrieved voice came over. Adam smiled non-committally. To borrow Mrs. Cooper words, I will always love you, my little baby who feeds lions. In the Bible, Noah's Ark contained many animals. In Mrs. Cooper's understanding, they fed on the bodies of sinners floating in the flood. Sheldon, who did not believe in God and often slandered God, was a sinner in Mrs. Cooper's eyes. Of course, no matter how sinful he was still her favorite little baby. My mother didn't say the second half of the sentence. Sheldon shouted on the other end of the phone, but it does sound like she said it. That's not the point. The point is that you made me have a nightmare. Don't you think this is interesting? Adam smiled. It's like watching a superhero movie. By the way, among all your friends, who treats you as well as I do? These plots and lines are all written by me for you. Let you immerse yourself in the parallel universe and be the Flash, which is so cool. Isn't this more exciting than the Dungeons and Dragons board game? It's really very immersive. Sheldon was stunned on the other end of the phone. You're welcome. Adam smiled and hung up the phone. You know he won't give up, right? Peggy laughed. I know. Adam laughed. Ding-ling-ling. The phone rang again. Yes. Adam winked at Peggy and answered the phone. Don't hang up on me, Sheldon shouted from the other end, and let's have a video call. I'll scold you face to face. This is not the time, Sheldon. Adam refused flatly. If Sheldon was in front of him, he would have slapped him. Don't watch, kid. You're right. Sheldon didn't continue to worry about the video, and shouted, "This plot design is indeed more exciting than the general Dungeons & Dragons board game plot, giving me an unprecedented immersive experience. But because of this, your betrayal in the later period is even more hateful. Flash Birdman Sheldon, he puts my world in jeopardy. I hate you." Adam grinned. "Okay, I apologize. You know, my brain hole came up, and I didn't care for a while. This can't be blamed on me." "Blame inspiration. I am also a victim. Now all Sheldons are rebelling. It's all your fault." Sheldon shouted, "I'm officially notifying you now, Adam Duncan. You are on my blacklist." "Oh." No. Adam used the same exaggerated expression as Leonard to perfunctorily deal with Sheldon. He is not afraid of being on Sheldon's blacklist, but he soon couldn't perfunctorily deal with it anymore. "Do you regret it now?" "It's too late," Sheldon said seriously. Yeah. Adam nodded sincerely and sighed. "By the way, where can I rank? Can I compete with Will Wheaton for the top spot?" "Sheldon, you know I am very enterprising. Will Wheaton plays Wesley Crassel in Star Trek." Sheldon can differentiate into a fanatical fan. Sheldon, which shows how much he loves Star Trek. 4 years ago, Jackson, the capital of Mississippi, held the 4th annual convention of the Southern Star Trek fans. The organizer said that Will Wheaton would be there during the promotion. Sheldon's biggest fan is of course Spock, but he also likes Will Wheaton. So in order to meet his idol, Sheldon took a full 10-hour car ride. On the way, he had to violate his toilet rules and cleanliness twice, and compromised with his disobedient bladder in the dirty car toilet. But when he arrived, he found that his idol Will Wheaton had gone to play somewhere else and didn't come at all. Sheldon's sacrifice was completely Bayesian. From then on, the former idol Will Wheaton successfully surpassed 60 other enemies and was promoted to the top of Sheldon's blacklist. "You were originally below him, but now you have successfully surpassed him and become the #1 on my blacklist, the ultimate enemy," Sheldon shouted angrily. "Thank you. It's my honor." Adam glanced at Peggy and said with a smile, "If you want to do it, be the first." Peggy patted Adam and said with a smile, "Okay, stop teasing him." "Okay." Adam gave Peggy face and smiled at the angry Sheldon on the other end of the phone. "I am your ultimate enemy now, huh?" "Without a doubt." Sheldon bulged his eyes. "Are you sure?" Adam said pretentiously. "That's a pity. I'm going to ask Mr. Nimoy for a signed version of Spock for my good friend." "What?" Sheldon lost his temper on the other end of the phone, and his tone changed. "Mr. Nimoy? Mr. Leonard Nimoy? Mr. Spock? Are there any other Spocks besides him?" Adam asked with a smile. "Of course not," Sheldon shouted immediately. "He is the eternal Spock." "Adam, my good friend, welcome back." "Not the ultimate enemy anymore?" Adam joked. Sheldon's face was angled. "Okay, yours. Of course it's yours. Such a Spock, such an autograph. Who else can it be given except to you?" Adam didn't have time to tease him anymore, and said quickly, "Are we so happy to become good friends again?" "Yeah," Sheldon cheered immediately. "Sweet dreams," Adam said, and hung up the phone directly. "Over there." Sheldon got up happily, picked up the doll of Spock, talked for a while, and fell asleep soundly. In a dream. Adam Duncan is the culprit of all this. How can you forgive him so easily? Sheldon, a misophobia, shouted angrily. "Why not?" Sheldon, a fanatic fan, stood up and said with his head held high, "I just think Adam is the best friend." "I think so too." Sheldon, the Birdman of the Flash, echoed. "You two traitors. You betrayed everyone for a little benefit." Sheldon, a misophobia, couldn't stand it, and raised his hand to call for action. "If there is one, there will be two, and we will never agree." Down with Sheldon, the Birdman of the Flash. Down with Sheldon, the fanatic fan. Down with Sheldon, the main body of the throne. "Brothers, come on." Countless timid Sheldons surrounded the 7 executive Sheldons from a distance, hesitating and unwilling to go up. If Sheldon, a misophobia, doesn't take the lead and rush up, who will dare to rush up? It's useless to have more people. Fanatic fan Sheldon said arrogantly, "If Flash Birdman Sheldon takes action, no matter how many of you there are, it will be useless. Hey, we are all family. I am not here to destroy this big family. I am here to join. Flash Birdman Sheldon acted like a peacemaker. You don't have to take action now. Fanatic fan Sheldon looked at the throne main body Sheldon. Commander. Cowardly Sheldons, you have gone too far this time. Throne main body Sheldon sat high on the throne and said coldly. Fanatical fan Sheldon, you have obtained my full authorization for military action. Received. Fanatic fan Sheldon saluted and then shouted, Red alert. Phase guns, listen to my instructions and prepare to fire. Let you cowards know what a real interstellar war is. Number advantage, in front of Krypton Gold players, you are nothing. When Adam blessed me with Mr. Spock's halo, all the phase guns were instantly filled with energy, and you are doomed to lose. Those who obey me will live, those who oppose me will die. Boom boom boom. Hundreds of phase cannons instantly shot straight into the sky, exploding countless gorgeous fireworks, as if recreating the Big Bang. First warning. Fanatic fan Sheldon was in high spirits, looking around coldly at the countless timid Sheldons around him. Boom. Before he finished speaking, the crowded scene around him was instantly emptied. The timid Sheldons have no other skills, but they are all good at running away. Misophobic Sheldon, do you have any opinions about our good friend Adam? Fanatic fan Sheldon looked at the leader of the timid Sheldons. Misophobic Sheldon, P.S. Thanks to book friends 20190214125157066, Nejizel, Happy_boy, Supreme Hades, Juan Xuxin, Where the Wind Blows 404 Where I Go, book friend 20180417123431189, and Zaire for their rewards. Chapter 803 Flash Sheldon vs. Supergirl Peggy, The Battle of the Multiverse. Late at night, the Sheldon General Meeting was expanded, and the request of the Cleanliness Sheldon to veto the joining of Flash Birdman Sheldon and to regard Adam as the ultimate enemy was rejected. Among the 7 standing Sheldons, Fanatic fan Sheldon and Flash Birdman Sheldon, needless to say, are Adam's unconditional fans. Texas cowboy Sheldon admires his fellow countryman Adam's abundant martial virtues. Scientist Sheldon admires Adam's super high IQ. Funny Sheldon admires Adam's ability to reverse and reverse again. Throne subject Sheldon believed that Adam and Peggy were rare friends because of his mother's instructions, and he also maintained the greatest goodwill towards Adam. And compared with Adam's spoof, the Cleanliness Sheldon dared to shout slogans to incite a rebellion. How can this be tolerated? 6-1, completely crushed the Cleanliness Sheldon, but they didn't dare to go too far. After all, the cowardly Sheldons headed by the Cleanliness Sheldon are the largest part of Sheldon. Even rabbits bite when they are anxious. Although Sheldon, who has misophobia, felt wronged and unwilling. He was a person who was afraid of bacteria in the air. If he rebelled, he would only shout "Come on," instead of "Follow me." He was not tough at all. He quickly accepted the resolution of the meeting and agreed to accept the concept that Adam was a good friend. A huge fluctuation just disappeared. The unified Sheldon fell asleep with a smile on his face. Over there, Adam didn't know these thrilling details. He didn't care, because even if his style of doing things was more and more like Howard's repeated teasing and rubbing of Sheldon, but his energy was beyond Howard's imagination. It would not happen that Sheldon secretly remembered it in his heart and then targeted Howard at the first opportunity. For example, when they were fighting for parking spaces, Sheldon snatched Howard's Iron Man helmet. Howard sat naked on Sheldon's special seat and played with Sheldon's laptop. Then Sheldon also ran into Howard's new car, took off all his clothes, and kept rubbing. These eye-catching acts of revenge will never happen to Adam. Adam tends to regard this teasing behavior as the positive feedback motivation that Sheldon most admires. It's just that Sheldon corrects and reshapes other people's behavior according to his own ideas. Adam is just beating the child on a rainy day, just basing it to tease Sheldon. Of course, because Adam's money is there, this simple teasing will not happen like Howard, who was targeted by Sheldon for more than 10 years. It is more like the legendary protecting the short skill. That is, I beat you from time to time, let you explode on the spot, and then use my money to revive you on the spot. I am not playing with you, but treating you as my own. Although you regard me as an enemy at the beginning, as the number of times increases, the beating methods become more and more bizarre. You will think I am a psychopath, and then you will be afraid and cowardly, and you will unknowingly agree with my ideas in your heart, and become best friends. But Adam has no time to care about the effect of beating the child when you have time. After all, I only beat the child when it rains. The priority cannot be reversed. Speaking of the multiverse, Peggy hugged Adam's head and suddenly said, if Sheldon is the Flash, then who should my multiverse body be? Of course it's Supergirl, Adam said vaguely. Why? Peggy laughed. I thought it was Miss Marvel. What? Adam quickly looked up and looked over in horror, and his tone became the same as Sheldon's. How could you have such a terrible idea? What's the problem? Peggy was surprised and said, first of all, Supergirl is not a mainstream superhero, and she is not quite comparable to the Flash of the Six Giants of the Justice League. Secondly, in the multiverse, the Flash can travel through time and space. I think it's interesting to benchmark Miss Marvel, the highest female combat power in Marvel next door, and let the Flash meet Miss Marvel and then be beaten by Miss Marvel. That's it? Adam asked. What other reasons can there be? Peggy's eyes became a little strange. No, Adam breathed a sigh of relief. As long as you don't have an inexplicable hobby for Miss Marvel, it's fine. Miss Marvel is not suitable for you, Adam said flatly. Why? Peggy looked down, her eyes sharp. Do you think I'm not worthy? No, Adam explained quickly. Okay, there is a reason for this, but it's not that you are not worthy of her, but that she is not worthy of you. That big face. That body of tendons. There is no aesthetic appeal at all. A super beautiful girl is the most suitable for your image. And there are too many multiverses in the DC family. Supergirl and the Flash can also be from different universes in the multiverse. Supergirl's ability is enough to crush the Flash, which is very suitable for you and Sheldon's situation. Having said this, seeing that Peggy still had a strange look in her eyes, it seemed like she was implying that my figure was not worthy of the Marvel woman in the comics. What I said is the truth. Adam's mind raced, and he said sincerely, I've even thought of the storyline. It's called Flash Sheldon vs. Supergirl Peggy, The Battle of the Multiverse. I was planning to make a short film for you to watch later. Oh? Peggy said non-committally. Tell me about it first. I'll tell you then. Adam's brain has been successfully promoted to a super brain. Although he had not made any preparations before, under this extreme pressure, he instantly came up with a short film plot. The story begins when you and Sheldon first met as children and talked about the multiverse. When you were playing chess, Sheldon heard Mr. Spock's voice in his mind. Red alert. Phaser guns ready to fire. Of course, he doesn't have this ability in this universe, but after you said it seems that I am the smartest person, he angrily flipped the chessboard. You were surprised and upset, so you clenched your fists. Just as you were confronting each other, you in the multiverse also felt it. So, Mr. Spock, Sheldon's version of Mr. Spock, really ordered the phaser gun to fire at a pair of fists rushing at the speed of light from a universe. That's right, that was Supergirl Peggy, who was posing in the classic Superman posture, with her fists clearing the way. Her powerful defense ignored any light cannons and directly crashed through the power system of the spacecraft, causing the spacecraft's phaser gun to completely stop. Floating in the void of the universe, you looked inside through the broken glass of the spacecraft and saw that the guy who just made you angry was covered in flames, and a mysterious smile appeared at the corner of your mouth. At this moment, sparks and lightning flashed all the way, and Flash Sheldon crossed the multiverse, came to the spaceship, and rescued Spock Sheldon. You laughed even more happily, because you waited for your real target, Flash Sheldon. So when Flash Sheldon ran in front, you chased him at a speed that was not inferior to his. Soon Flash Sheldon found out that your real target was him, so he gave up Spock Sheldon, crossed the wormhole, and escaped. But the opening and closing of the space-time wormhole was still faster than your speed. You chased after him and also crossed the multiverse. Then when Flash Sheldon kept running, you easily caught up with him, ran side by side with him, and smiled at him. Flash Sheldon's hair stood up, and he wanted to escape again. But you had already punched in the void, and with your powerful superpower, you forcibly smashed a space-time wormhole. When Flash Sheldon was confused and didn't know whether to escape in, You grabbed Flash Sheldon and threw him in. As a female superhero who traveled through the multiverse, the universe on the other side of the space-time wormhole you deliberately punched is located in the alien universe. Flash Sheldon, who traveled through the past, was soon besieged by the alien army on the entire planet, and was eventually hugged by the Face-a-Hugger, screaming, "Save me, it's eating my face." At that time, you wore your red battle suit, crossed your legs, sat elegantly on the chair, tapped the floor with the black high-heeled boot that landed on the ground, and watched the screams of Flash Sheldon in the alien universe displayed on the TV screen, and the arc of your left lip gradually floated up. Chapter 804 The Cuckold King sets his sights on Adam late at night. Peggy's apartment. How was it? Adam made up a story and observed Peggy's expression. There was no other way. If he didn't satisfy her, he couldn't live like this. Why is Supergirl Peggy's real target the Flash Sheldon? Peggy didn't comment. Oh, this. Adam noticed that Peggy was quite satisfied with this made-up story and couldn't help laughing. It's very simple. Have you forgotten that when Sheldon made you angry, he patted your shoulder and said to you, "Woman, get me a bottle of beer"? When you in this universe clenched your fists and hit Sheldon, you in the multiverse also felt it. You have just awakened the power of Supergirl, and you are not used to this power yet. You are a little willful and naughty. Then you were bumped into by Flash Sheldon, who likes to travel through the multiverse. He insisted on persuading you, and took advantage of your inability to master superpowers and patted your shoulder in a familiar way. Then you exploded, and scared Flash Sheldon to open a wormhole directly and escape from this universe. Later, you, the Supergirl, completely mastered your abilities, went to the sun for a few years, and directly punched a wormhole. From then on, you posed in the classic Superman pose, opened the way with both fists, blasted open the infinite multiverse, tracked Flash Sheldon, and vowed to teach him a profound lesson. Ha ha ha. Peggy couldn't help laughing any longer. You are really good at making up stories, but it's really funny. Hee hee. Adam knew that Peggy was no longer staring at the comparison between her figure and the comic version of Marvel Woman, so he took the initiative again and laughed. As long as you like it. Peggy was satisfied, and the day was happy again. In Adam's dumbfounded eyes, Peggy raised her hands, clenched her fists, and said coquettishly, "What are you waiting for? It's not just the morning bells and evening drums that make me cry. What makes me reluctant to leave is the fishing lights under the Zongian Tower. How long will it take to walk along the way? You hold my hand. What makes me feel attached is your gentle homesickness. Thinking of you is always outside, and memory is the buckle of missing. The green willows by the mirror lake kiss my forehead." The next day, early in the morning, Adam kissed Peggy's forehead, then hummed the song he hummed all night last night, stepped on the accelerator of the sports car, and drove away from New Jersey like flying, heading to the hospital. Today is the day when Mr. Robinson Jr. injects active viruses. It is the first step in Adam's clinical research on virus elimination of cancer cells. What a good day. Medical Center. Ward. How was last night? Adam smiled at the little man and Lexi. Everything was normal, the little man said. Mr. Robinson's mood seems to be a little off. Lexi looked at the little man strangely. This is the tumor talking. Normal mood swings. The little man was very calm. What's going on? Adam frowned. Tell me in detail. Mr. Robinson suddenly said to Dr. Melendez last night, "Look at my wife, isn't she beautiful?" Lexi endured the strangeness and said, "When I first saw her, I just stared at her buttocks. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you want to try? I'll tell you secretly, she can do better Tilda." Adam's mouth twitched, and he was speechless. This guy is really emotional. Then what? Adam held back his complaints and asked very professionally. Of course Dr. Melendez refused. Lexi smiled bitterly. Mrs. Robinson explained awkwardly that her husband was worried that he would die on the operating table tomorrow, so she had to help her find her next husband right away. Then Mr. Robinson yelled at her. "Did I ask you to speak? We can only say that it was the tumor that was talking." It was indeed the tumor that was talking. Adam nodded, looked at Lexi and the others, and reminded them, "Keep this in mind." Yeah, Lexi and the little guy nodded to show that they understood. "Come with me." George and Carter also came over at this time. Adam called the four little ones and pushed the door and walked into the ward. "Good morning, Mr. Robinson, Mrs. Robinson. Adam smiled and said, "Are you ready?" "Of course." Mr. Robinson laughed a little crazy and said, "Anyway, if I didn't die during the operation, the tumor would kill me, so I have nothing to lose, right?" "Of course not," Adam said seriously. "Although the will to survive is difficult to quantify in medical treatment, it does have a great impact on treatment, especially at this time when a miracle is needed. The impact is even greater." "Mr. Robinson, if you regret it, we can cancel the operation. It's okay." Using the last period of time to accompany your wife and relatives is also a good choice. "Dr. Duncan, are you single?" Mr. Robinson didn't answer directly, but stared at Adam and looked at him. Adam's smile froze. If the operation continues, he must see if the malignant glioma in the brain of the person in front of him is all green. "Good guy?" he asks everyone. "Philip." Mrs. Robinson couldn't bear it anymore, and her face flushed and she screamed. Before, no matter what her husband said, she followed the doctor's advice and comforted herself that it was the tumor talking and she shouldn't take it seriously. But when her husband brought the matter to Adam, she found that she couldn't help but get angry. It was so embarrassing. "What's wrong?" Mr. Robinson laughed and said, "Don't say you don't like Dr. Duncan. I dare say no woman can resist him. If he was single and willing to accept you, you might want me to die on the operating table immediately." Mrs. Robinson looked pale and looked at her husband in disbelief. "Don't look at me like that." Mr. Robinson Jr. became more and more excited, and shouted angrily, "If you want to help me now, let Dr. Duncan accept my wife, or go find a few single men for my wife to choose from. This is a hospital, and there are handsome doctors everywhere who suit Jenny's taste, and Jenny is just a waitress with no future. If I don't help her before I die, how can she find a new husband that suits her?" "Enough, Mr. Robinson." Adam's face turned cold, and he said in a deep voice, "You may be thinking about it for the good of your wife. In case something happens to you, she will not be left alone in this world. But this kind of behavior only brings her endless humiliation, not care. No one is willing to accept such care. And we are all doctors. We are here to cure diseases and save lives, not to help you solve such things. Please give us some respect." "Sorry." Mr. Robinson Jr. was stunned, silent for a moment, and apologized. "I just worry about Jenny." "Philip, I will be fine," Mrs. Jenny Robinson cried. "If you really want me to be well, then try your best to survive and get through the operation. I just want to spend the rest of my life with you." "Yeah." Mr. Robinson smiled and nodded. After that, everything went smoothly and the operation went on as usual. In the operating room, before anesthesia. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Adam leaned over and looked at him. "Well, Dr. Duncan, thank you for your reminder." Mr. Robinson, who was lying there, smiled and said, "It's all thanks to you, Dr. Duncan. I almost forgot that I still have a brother. It happens that he has been divorced for many years. He will help me take care of Jenny. They will definitely be very happy." "I feel relieved." Adam, all medical staff. Chapter 805, Shed One Less Tear, Cry One Less. Family Medical Center. Operating room. Are you ready? Faced with the cuckold king's persistence, Adam didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and could only ask one question. "Yeah." Mr. Robinson smiled. Adam nodded and looked at the anesthesiologist. The anesthesiologist put the breathing mask filled with anesthetic gas on Mr. Robinson's face. In a breath, Mr. Robinson was anesthetized. "Let's start." Adam announced the start of the operation. "Scalpel." Adam stretched out his hand, took the scalpel handed by the nurse, and began to operate on Mr. Robinson. As expected, malignant glioma is not green. Beep, beep. Halfway through the operation, the monitoring instrument began to alarm. Complete blockage of cardiac conduction. Injection into the artery. Inject a dose of atropine. No response. Another dose of atropine. The condition was critical and repeated rescue efforts were ineffective. Patient number 1. Treatment failed. Adam stopped and looked at Lexi. "Dr. Gray, announce the death." Time of death 11:23. Lexi glanced at the time and announced, "Dr. O'Malley, the follow-up will be handed over to you and Dr. Carter." Adam said, taking off his surgical gown and gloves, and walked out. "The patient has passed away." The follow-up cleanup work will naturally be handed over to the intern. Yes, George agreed, walked to the main surgeon's position, and began to suture the patient. Dr. Gray, what are you waiting for? Adam walked to the door of the operating room and looked at Lexi, who was still stunned. Come with us to tell Mr. Robinson's family this unfortunate news. Oh, Lexi realized that the little man had followed Adam, and quickly agreed and walked over. She almost forgot that her professional attitude of being neither emotional nor indifferent had not been developed yet. This sad occasion is a rare opportunity to train her being unemotional and the little man not being indifferent. Mrs. Robinson, I'm sorry. Adam took the little man and Lexi out of the operating room and told the expected bad news to Mrs. Robinson, who was waiting outside. Gray, wipe your tears, Adam reminded her after delivering the bad news and leaving. That's right. As Mrs. Robinson burst into tears after hearing the news, Lexi, who was standing by and watching, couldn't help but moisten her eyes. I'm sorry, Dr. Duncan. Lexi wiped her tears and apologized. Gray, is there a problem with our operation? Adam asked. No, Lexi shook her head quickly. During the rescue process, she witnessed Adam's stability, which made her think that the operation would be successful. Then the patient didn't fully agree in advance? Adam asked again. Of course not. Lexi shook her head. How long can the patient live without the operation? Adam continued to ask. According to medical records, it's usually only a few weeks. Lexi understood what Adam wanted to say. Dr. Duncan, you have given the patient and the patient's family enough time to consider, and informed them of everything that might happen in advance. Was the patient in pain when he died? Adam continued to ask. The patient was in deep anesthesia and didn't feel anything. Lexi could only answer. Then what else can we do? Adam looked at Lexi. I can't think of anything. Lexi shook her head. We have tried our best. The little man said what Adam wanted to say. Doctors are not God. It is enough to do our best and have a clear conscience. After the death of an elderly person in the family, many people like to cry loudly in public. Adam looked at Lexi. I don't deny that some of them are crying because they are truly emotional and can't control their sadness, but those who use arias, no matter how loud they cry, are not as good as caring more about the elderly when they are alive. Dr. Gray, we are doctors, not family members of patients. Our cries and tears are meaningless to the dead patients and the families of patients who are truly sad. It is just like those who use arias in public to cry for the death of their own elderly. It is meaningless to the departed elderly. So put away your tears, turn them into motivation and obsession, do your best to prepare for the operation before the operation, and go all out during the operation. Then, no matter what the result after the operation is, we will have a clear conscience. Otherwise, you will just cry helplessly, and it will be useless until your tears dry up and your eyes are blinded. On the contrary, if you shed one less tear today, maybe your family will cry less tomorrow. Yes, Dr. Duncan. Lexi was ashamed. Go, organize the information of this operation and think carefully about the problems. You are also excellent doctors. Maybe you will have inspiration and come up with a better way. Adam glanced at the short man. We still have 11 chances, but I hope we don't have to use them all. Yes, the short man nodded heavily. Noon. Buffet. I heard that your operation failed, Christina asked with concern. Yes. Adam glanced at her. For this kind of groundbreaking operation, there is no experience to refer to. It is normal to fail the first time. Christina smiled and said, you still have 11 chances. 11 chances? Meredith was stunned. This kind of clinical research is supervised by a professional ethics committee. Christina had obviously done her homework beforehand, and introduced it clearly. If there are 12 consecutive failures, resulting in the death of 12 patients participating in clinical research, the Professional Ethics Committee will suspend this clinical research experiment. And once it is suspended, it will be countless times more difficult to reopen it later than to apply for it at the beginning. I will cherish these opportunities and carefully consider every clinical research opportunity. Adam nodded. Jushiran said, failure is the mother of success. It is said that every failure will accumulate experience for success. But the fact is that no one will give you unlimited opportunities, especially when it comes to major events such as patient death. 12 consecutive failures are either because the research project is too difficult, or because of bad luck. or because of insufficient level. Regardless of the reason, as the person leading this clinical research project, it is not suitable to continue to lead this kind of clinical research project in a short period of time. Adam may be able to smooth over the relationship and extend the opportunity, but it is easy to be criticized and attacked. This is not a matter involving his own life and death, and he obviously will not do that. Therefore, he only has 11 chances left. After 11 attempts, if there is no success, this clinical research project that he has placed great hopes on will be frozen. In his previous life, maybe after 20 years, there will be a chance to restart, but this is in the world of American TV series. Adam got a mysterious feeling when he tested the lifespan of Wu Feng, the Western poison, that is, after another 20 years, he will not have a chance. Therefore, there are really only 11 chances, so we must seize them well. Chapter 806. Hello, Dr. House, Medical Center. After lunch, Adam went to Dr. Shep's office. Knock, knock, knock. Dr. Shep, knock, knock, knock. Dr. Shep, knock, knock, knock. Dr. Shep. Adam used Sheldon's classic knocking method and knocked on the door. It turns out that Sheldon's knocking on the door is not without reason. But there is no way. Adam's hearing is far better than that of ordinary people. Come in. After the third knock on the door, Dr. Shep's voice came from the office. Rose is here too. Adam pretended to be unaware and nodded to the strange-looking nurse Rose, and then said to Dr. Shep naturally, Dr. Shep, I wonder if you are free tomorrow night? You guys chat. The big-eyed nurse Rose slightly smoothed her nurse uniform, smiled awkwardly, and left the office. Sit down. Dr. Shep subconsciously touched his hair and found that it was not messy, so he greeted, For Mr. Robinson's surgery? No. Adam glanced at the sofa and smiled. I will invite other experts later. I hope we can get together tomorrow night and study together. Do you have time? Dr. Shep, although he is not a germaphobe, he is also like Sheldon, unwilling to sit on the obviously contaminated sofa. But Adam is very polite. He will not directly point out that he will never sit on the sofa that has been defiled by his mother and an unknown man like Sheldon will do in the future. Of course, Dr. Shep naturally said nothing. He knew that this was Adam's big project, and he would do his best to help if he could. Do you need me to help you make the call? I'll contact them first. Adam smiled and said, if you can't invite them, then we'll ask Dr. Shep to come. Then I probably won't be needed. Dr. Shep laughed dumbly and said, I almost forgot. Adam, you are so famous now, whoever you invite will give you a face. I hope so. Adam smiled reservedly. Then it's settled. Of course, if you already have an appointment tomorrow night, we can postpone the time. No need. Dr. Shep smiled and said, this is a big deal. I'm always free. You should give priority to other people's time. If there is any change, just let me know in advance. Thank you. Adam thanked him, said a few more words to Dr. Shep, and left. Their current relationship can be regarded as a lifelong friendship, although it is one-sided. But there is no need to be too polite. Back to the office, Adam started making calls, inviting top experts in various fields such as oncology, immunology, virology, etc. Dong dong dong. But before he could make a few calls, there was a knock on the office. Adam, I heard that you are going to meet with someone to discuss surgery tomorrow night. I want to join. As expected, Christina was the first to come over after hearing the news. I can serve tea and water. Okay. Adam and she are friends, so naturally he would not refuse her request for advancement. Help us prepare together when the time comes. The people who come are all top experts in various fields. Don't be rude. Don't worry. I'm not Meredith. Christina got excited and used her bestie to stand on her feet. That's enough. It would have been better if she hadn't said it. As soon as she said it, Adam couldn't help but complain. In that kind of occasion, you are not as reliable as Meredith. Forget it. You don't have to worry about it. Just stand aside and listen honestly. Meredith was 100% drunk and had her belt off, and Christina was 100% authority-controlled. Relatively speaking, in the occasion of tomorrow night when all the big names in various medical fields gathered, Christina was really not as reliable as Meredith to Adam. It's settled. Christina got what she wanted and was already excited about the big-name party tomorrow night. She didn't care about Adam's complaints about her and left happily. As soon as she left, someone else came. "Okay, all four of you can go," Adam said to George, who was looking around. "Yeah." Carter and Lexi's cheers came from afar. "Adam, are you going to organize an expert meeting?" "Soon." Richard, the chief of surgery, also came over and said, "Why don't you organize it directly in the name of the hospital? I'll have someone help you prepare it." "Forget it." After thanking him, Adam shook his head and said, "Next time. This is a small-scale private gathering held in my name, and I hope everyone can speak freely. Once it is held in the name of the hospital, if there are too many people, others will have some concerns, and it will not be worth the loss. Don't worry, Director. If there are any latest developments in the future, I will take the initiative to tell everyone at a monthly hospital seminar." "Okay." Richard, the chief of surgery, thought for a while and nodded. "This kind of opportunity is rare for a teaching hospital." "I know. There will be opportunities in the future." Adam smiled and said, "Director, are you free tomorrow night?" "Of course." Richard, the chief of surgery, raised his head slightly and showed a bright smile. Obviously, he was very happy with Adam's invitation. At the beginning, it was official business, and he was speaking as the chief of surgery, but now he is a general surgeon. After all, he is also a big shot in the medical field. It's just that he is a general surgeon, so it is reasonable for Adam not to invite him. So for him, whether to invite or not is like Schrodinger's invitation. It would be embarrassing if he is not at the big meeting tomorrow night. Now that the dust has settled, how can he not be happy? Damn it. Adam looked at the back of the head of surgery leaving and complained secretly. This was originally just a private exchange meeting in a small circle. Now it seems that it will continue to expand. This is not good news, because the best exchange and research on this kind of groundbreaking surgery is the top experts in various fields. On the basis of their professional knowledge, the inspiration of wild imagination will collide. In that way, the probability of colliding with brilliant wisdom will be greatly increased. Now that this is going on, more and more people are coming. If it turns into a conference, the top experts who are present at that time will definitely subconsciously hold back. Otherwise, if they accidentally say something wrong and are ridiculed, it will be a shame. For them who have already achieved success, this is absolutely intolerable. But at this point, Adam can only ride the tiger down the mountain. At worst, it's just a formality first, and after everyone has eaten, drunk, and chatted, and everyone has dispersed, we can stay and invite the experts in the corresponding professional fields that we really want to invite, and then we can have a small meeting. Thinking of this, Adam shook his head and suppressed these distracting thoughts, and dialed the phone number according to the famous doctor's address book specially recorded in his memory. "Hello, is this Dr. Greg House? I am Dr. Adam Duncan. P.S. Thanks to King Kong Waniziki and book friend 2018112419100985 for the reward." Chapter 807. House is already a legend, but Duncan is not New Jersey yet. Princeton Teaching Hospital. 2 offices, one large and one small, connected with a glass door in the middle, are the legendary Princeton Teaching Hospital, the world's unique diagnostic department specially set up for the legendary Dr. House. In the large office outside, or the conference room, 3 doctors in white coats are sitting here bored. A childhood iodine deficiency, 9 letters. A handsome white doctor is sitting there, holding a newspaper, playing the most classic crossword puzzle. At this time, he encountered a problem and couldn't help muttering, "Cretinopathy." At the conference table, an African-American male doctor sat sideways, one hand on his knee, and the other hand tapped the conference table. He was in a trance. Hearing his colleagues mumbling, he didn't raise his head and casually reported the answer. The handsome white doctor thought about it, pursed his lips, and agreed. Not far away, at the computer desk, a beautiful doctor was sitting there, processing emails. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. In the small office, the landline suddenly rang. "I'll take it." As the beautiful doctor spoke, she stood up, pushed open the glass door in the middle, walked into the small office, picked up the landline, and answered the call. "Hello, is this Dr. Greg House? I'm Dr. Adam Duncan, New York Medical Center. Hello, this is Dr. House's office. I'm Dr. Allison Cameron, working for Dr. House. It's nice to hear your voice, Dr. Duncan. As the beautiful Dr. Cameron spoke, she turned and looked at the other two colleagues. The handsome white doctor and the African-American doctor had already looked over when they heard Dr. Duncan's name. Me too. On the other end of the phone, Adam smiled and said, Dr. Cameron, an outstanding immunologist. Dr. House is so lucky to have you work for him. Have you heard of me? The corners of the beautiful Dr. Cameron's mouth couldn't help but curl up. Of course. Adam smiled and said, I remember all the excellent doctors in my mind. Dr. Duncan, what can I do for you? The beautiful Dr. Cameron smiled and said, Dr. House is not in the office, but I can help you find him. If I'm not mistaken, he must be hiding at Dr. Wilson's place watching TV. No need, I'll just call his cell phone later. Adam smiled and said, in fact, Dr. Cameron, are you free tomorrow night? I'm working on a clinical research project recently. The first patient in the operation died today. I hope to consult the top experts in the relevant field. Oh, of course, my honor. The beautiful Dr. Cameron was startled and nodded in agreement. When she heard the first half of the sentence, her heartbeat stagnated for a moment, but soon it resumed beating with Adam's explanation. Then it settled. Adam smiled and said a few more words, set the time and place, and hung up the phone. Dr. House's office. Is it Dr. Adam Duncan from the New York Medical Center? The handsome white man Robert Chess gossiped. Yes. The beautiful Dr. Cameron smiled and hung up the phone. Why did he go to see Dr. House? African-American Dr. Eric Foreman asked curiously. He should invite Dr. House for a consultation. The beautiful Dr. Cameron simply repeated what Adam said and expressed her guess. He knows all the excellent doctors, but he only invited you? The handsome white man Dr. Chase frowned and looked at the oldest African-American doctor, Dr. Foreman. The reason why he could work for the legendary Dr. House was not only because his father, a rheumatologist, always called to harass Dr. House, but also because he was excellent enough. He has extensive knowledge, is good at surgery, and is an expert attending physician in the intensive care unit. I don't care. Dr. Foreman tilted his head. No matter how good he is just a first-year resident now. We have worked hard for so many years to become experts in our respective fields. Is it just to get the recognition of a first-year resident? Forget it. I don't think so. But he is Adam Duncan. Dr. Chase still couldn't let go of his dissatisfaction of being ignored. So what? Dr. Foreman sat up straight, put his hands on the conference table, and looked at Dr. Chase. Let me put it this way. Dr. House is already too much for us to bear. Do you want to provoke a younger version of Dr. House? Dr. Duncan is not Dr. House. The beautiful Dr. Cameron laughed. And even if he is, Dr. Duncan is a younger version of Dr. House who has not encountered setbacks. He does not have the gloomy mood of Dr. House at the moment. Not only is he not sharp-tongued, but on the contrary he is very gentle and amiable, and easy to get along with. Haha. Dr. Foreman laughed out loud and mocked. Do you believe it? The younger version of Dr. House is also Dr. House, and it has nothing to do with whether he has encountered setbacks or not. In fact, if Dr. House had not encountered setbacks before, his legs had not been disabled due to deep vein thrombosis, and he had to take Vicodin, painkillers, every day, he would still not be much different. As for Adam Duncan, his level is higher than any legendary doctor of the same period. He is also a self-made billionaire, handsome and awe-inspiring. Do you think he is really gentle and amiable? Considering his excellence, no one is perfect. I dare say that his arrogance is even higher than Dr. House. It's just that he is good at hiding it and doesn't show it deliberately. At least he is willing to hide his arrogance. The beautiful Dr. Cameron shrugged and said, that's good enough. Haha, is that so? Dr. Foreman sneered. For ordinary people, his behavior is indeed good enough. But for people like us, this deliberate concealment is even more unacceptable than Dr. House's arrogance and poisonous tongue. Dr. Kais nodded in agreement. Doctors are the best of the best in the world of American TV series. Those who become experts in a certain field at a young age are even better. Deep down in their hearts, they all have a sense of pride. Who is worse than who? Well, the best of the best cannot be compared with the legends at the top, otherwise, they wouldn't have to give up their high status in their respective hospitals and come to work for Dr. House, endure the risk of being venomous and wasting time, just to learn from the legendary doctor, hoping to get one step closer. How busy were they before? But now, because of Dr. House's higher requirements for cases, he is not interested in any rare and difficult cases, so that the three experts in their respective fields can only sit in the office in a daze, play games, and deal with emails. It would be fine if they didn't know that Adam Duncan was extremely arrogant in his bones, but once they knew, they had to pretend not to know, which would be too difficult for them. Dr. House is already a legend. They accepted it and endured it. But Adam Duncan is not, is he? P.S. Thanks to Hei Hong for the reward. Chapter 808 House, Adam, you will look beautiful in women's clothes. New Jersey. Princeton Teaching Hospital, Wilson Cancer Clinic. A middle-aged bearded man, lying on a treatment chair, eating a lollipop and flipping through a magazine. You don't have any patients? None? In front of him, a middle-aged white doctor in a white coat, James Wilson, stood there, looking at him in disbelief. House, you selected a group of elite doctors to work for you, just to make them do nothing? Cameron is helping me reply to emails. The middle-aged bearded man is the legendary Dr. House. He took the lollipop out of his mouth and replied seriously, that's really making full use of time. Dr. Wilson sneered, what about Kais and Foreman? Dr. House thought about it and said uncertainly, doing scientific research? Even though he was a good friend of Dr. House, Dr. Wilson was still speechless about Dr. House's behavior. Ding-ling-ling. At this moment, the phone rang. It must be Cuddy. Can't you give me some free time? Dr. House thought it was the beautiful Dean who couldn't find him, so she called directly. He showed a helpless expression to his best friend, said something naughty, and answered the call. Busy. One word, concise and clear. Dr. Greg House, I'm Dr. Adam Duncan, New York Medical Center. Adam smiled. You finally figured it out. Dr. House leaned back and said, I was curious why I didn't see your application letter before. It's a little late now. I've already hired 3 people, but as long as you come, I can fire them all. You are better than Kais in critical care and surgery. I heard that you are doing neurosurgery independently in neurological surgery, which is what Kais is good at. You are a first-year resident. Very good. And the biggest reason why I hired Foreman is because he is better at the little tricks that are not common among doctors. And once you come, his little tricks are really little tricks. With your looks, women are willing to open the door for you for free. And with your wealth, men are basically the same. As long as you want, you can easily enter anyone's home without having to sneak into the lock, and you don't have to worry about your skin problems like Foreman, and you don't have to bring a white companion every time, for fear of being seen and shot. Come on, it's not the 17th century now. The probability of African Americans being shot for no reason is much smaller now. Okay, don't be so timid. Okay, finally, it's Cameron. Well, we can keep her. After all, she is a great beauty, so pleasing to the eyes. Of course, if you don't want to, we can also fire her. With your looks, women's clothes must be more beautiful than her. Sorry, I'm not calling to apply for a job for you. On the other end of the phone, even though Adam was mentally prepared, he was still very angry at Dr. House's venomous tongue, but he still politely refused and prepared to talk about business first. But unfortunately, Dr. House was very persistent and interrupted him. Don't refuse yet. Dr. House smiled and said, Duncan, you must have seen Sherlock Holmes, right? You have a high-definition image memory, a strong understanding, super hands-on ability and combat power. Once you come here, we will join forces and we will be the Sherlock Holmes and Watson in the medical field. Think about it. There are so many medical mysteries waiting for us to explore and solve. How wonderful it is. Dr. House, you are too kind. I can't be considered the Sherlock Holmes in the medical field. Adam smiled reservedly. It's shameless. I like it. Dr. House's eyes lit up. Thank you. After thanking him, Adam turned to the main topic again. Dr. House, I'm currently working on a clinical research project on viral tumor reduction. I sincerely invite you to join our party tomorrow night and give me some inspirational guidance. Viral tumor reduction? Good idea. Dr. House put the lollipop in his mouth again and smiled. Can I be in charge of this project? Sorry, this is my project. Adam declined. That would be too boring. Dr. House refused without hesitation. When you figure it out, you can always come to Princeton Teaching Hospital to find me, and we'll explore and solve the mystery together. That's a pity. Adam sighed when he saw Dr. House refuse. Then he put down his burden. Since there is nothing to ask for, why do you still suppress the true energy running around in Duncan? Release it as much as you can. He showed his cards. Dr. House, you know what? Actually, you don't need me at all. Adam smiled and said, your personality and soul are Holmes. Likes to take drugs, obsessed with solving puzzles, but your body and identity are Watson. Dr. Identity, crippled body. Look at your last name, House, which is also an imitation of Holmes. You are a complete mixture of them. It might be more appropriate to call you Watson Holmes. Interesting argument. Dr. House didn't mind at all. He licked the lollipop and said with interest, anything else? With his IQ, he naturally heard Adam's showdown and fight back. This made him very interested. Anything else? Adam smiled slightly. It's a pity that you just borrowed Watson's Dr. Identity. You are always more like Holmes. Otherwise, if you really borrowed Watson's body, we would have a chance to play boxing together. Holmes' partner, Dr. Watson, was just a fake lame due to psychological factors. Later, he was stimulated by Holmes and ran directly. But Dr. House was really lame. Boxing is not allowed. We can play horse racing together. Well, now it's car racing. Dr. House pursed his lips and said, I just have a lame leg. I can still drive. Dr. Watson likes boxing and horse racing. There will be a chance. Adam smiled and said, and don't worry, if there is any accident again, I will definitely help you rescue the intact leg, and I will never go against your wishes. Very vicious. On the other end of the phone, Dr. House paused with his hand that was constantly turning the lollipop, and he didn't lie down, stood up, and said in surprise, you thought I was vicious enough, but you didn't expect to be more vicious, and you are the kind who come prepared. The reason why he divorced his beloved ex-wife was because when he had problems with his leg, before he fell into a coma, he told him not to do the operation, but after he fell into a coma, his wife went against his wishes, causing him to become lame, and he had to take a lot of painkillers every day to relieve the pain. Endless physical pain, coupled with the spiritual betrayal of his beloved ex-wife. His ex-wife did not believe in his most proud medical professional judgment, which caused him to be crippled by a mediocre doctor in his eyes. This was the greatest pain in his life. No, Adam was naturally not preparing for a sneak attack, and explained sincerely, Dr. House is a legend. We, the younger generation, naturally care about everything about you, Dr. House. But I still want to advise you, maybe you shouldn't blame your ex-wife, seeing that you like to look at beautiful women, and like to look at men wearing women's clothes, and you don't care about meat or vegetables. Your ex-wife is probably sulking in her heart, and it's probably not the first or second time. It just so happened that the opportunity came that time, and she gave you a hard time. She didn't mean to hurt you, but she just loved you too much, and didn't like you to be too jumpy, fly too fast, and she couldn't catch up. You should understand her. Dr. House, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 809, Dr. House's Counterattack. New Jersey, Princeton Teaching Hospital. Dr. House was hit back by Adam's venomous tongue and was speechless for a while. There was nothing he could do. Adam poked at his most painful parts, cruel and venomous. Anyway, Dr. House is always welcome to come to the party tomorrow night. Seeing this, Adam stopped. After all, he is an old senior, so he should always give him some face. Respecting the elderly and loving the young is a traditional virtue. Not interested, Dr. House said and hung up the phone. Is it Dr. Adam Duncan from the New York Medical Center? Dr. Wilson, a good friend standing next to him, already knew Adam's identity from the conversation, and couldn't help but curiously asked, "He is doing clinical research on virus elimination of tumors?" It's really a young man to be feared. It has always been said that he is destined to be another legend in the medical field. It really lives up to his reputation. "Where are you going?" At this point, he saw Dr. House stand up and walk out with crutches. Thinking of the other party's bad habits, he hurriedly pulled him back. He cares about the old senior, so how can I, an old senior, not care about him? Dr. House turned around and tapped Dr. Wilson's hand with his cane. "Everyone lies, but the truth is often hidden in lies. I'm going to find the truth about Adam Duncan, and then have a good chat with him. He's very interesting, and I hope he can continue to be interesting." "Don't do that," Dr. Wilson hurriedly advised. "He is not an ordinary person. You can't just run to someone's door casually, use your wire to break the door, go in and look through his privacy, and collect his private information." In addition to being an amazing young doctor, he is also a self-made billionaire. A billionaire. Once you annoy him, with your habit of breaking the rules, even Cuddy can't protect you. And from what you said just now, he doesn't seem like a good-tempered person. Isn't that more interesting? Dr. House knocked his good friend's hand away with his cane and smiled. Ding-ling-ling. At this time, the phone rang. "Hello." Dr. Wilson had no choice but to let go and went to pick up the landline and answered. "Dr. Duncan?" Dr. House, who was about to open the door and walk out, paused and looked over. "Of course, I have time." Dr. Wilson glanced at Dr. House and nodded. After a few more pleasantries, he hung up the phone. "It's Adam Duncan's call. He invited me to a party tomorrow night," Dr. Wilson reminded. "Cunning." Dr. House laughed even more happily. "He is poisonous and cunning, and so capable. He is simply my ideal Watson." "Cunning?" Dr. Wilson was puzzled. "He knows you are my best friend." Dr. House smiled and said, "He invited you, not only to invite you, but also to threaten me to come over. Otherwise, he will keep pestering you and be friends with you to attack me. Isn't this cunning? Why can't it just be because I am an excellent oncologist?" Dr. Wilson said dissatisfiedly. What about now? Dr. House quickly repeated the entire conversation with Adam. "He even knows about Stacy, Dr. House's ex-wife. Doesn't he know that you are my best and only friend? By pestering you, he is forcing me to meet him. In addition to donating to female college students who can't afford tuition, he usually only plays with Dr. Wilson. He is overly concerned about the people and things around Dr. Wilson." Dr. Wilson's mouth twitched when he heard it. He really couldn't imagine that the gentle and amiable Adam would have such a side. "This is simply another poisonous house." "Okay, he may be a little cunning, but this proves what I said. He is not someone you can mess with. Look at his counterattack. It's not just a bad temper, but a very dark and vengeful person. That's why I say he's interesting." Dr. House smiled and said, "Unless you refuse him, this is a medical exchange." "I have agreed. How can I change my mind?" Dr. Wilson declined. Not to mention that Adam invited him enthusiastically, he had already agreed. Now he knew that Adam was not only talented and wealthy, but also quite treacherous, so he didn't want to offend Adam. "That's it." Dr. House pushed the door with his cane. "Next time I meet him, I can't know nothing about him. That would be too boring." As he said that, he limped out with his cane. "It's useless." Dr. Wilson quickly closed the door and followed, walking side by side with Dr. House, advising, "He is a real billionaire. Let's not talk about whether you can get close to where he lives. Even if you get close, do you think his door is like the door of an ordinary person's house, which you can pry open with a few wires? Don't joke. Most of them are electronic locks with a series of encryption measures such as passwords, fingerprints, and facial recognition. You can't get in at all. That's the point." Dr. House paused and thought about it with his cane. He was confident that he could pass the guard and walk to the door of the luxury apartment, but he was not sure about unlocking the electronic lock. If he finds professionals, even if he is willing to pay more, those people may not dare to attack the billionaire. This is quite troublesome. "So, come with me tomorrow night." Dr. Wilson breathed a sigh of relief. Although Dr. Duncan is a bit sharp-tongued, It is also because of your sharp-tongued first. We can study medicine together. Why do we have to make it so tense? You are so boring. Dr. House looked at his good friend, shook his head in disappointment, raised his crutches, and continued to walk forward. What are you going to do now? Dr. Wilson had an ominous premonition in his heart. Although I can't get into his apartment. Dr. House's mouth curled up. But if you want to know a person's privacy, it is not necessarily the only way to sneak into his house and look through his privacy. I just remembered something that can solve this problem. No. Dr. Wilson followed Dr. House into Dr. House's office. The ominous premonition in his heart became stronger. Here comes the work. Dr. House pushed the door open and walked in, put his crutches on the desk, and looked at his 3 ducks. Nicknames? 3 apprentices, like ducklings following their mother duck, usually following closely. Go get a New York phone book. Cameron, you call Rachel's name and ask her if she knows Ross and Phoebe. Chase, you call Phoebe's name and ask her if she knows Rachel and Ross. Foreman, I call Ross's name and ask him if he knows Rachel and Phoebe. The middle-aged African-American Dr. Foreman said unhappily. You really know a lot. Dr. House smiled and said, what are you waiting for? Get moving. Why? The beautiful Dr. Cameron and the handsome white man Chase have already started moving, but Dr. Foreman resisted. This doesn't look like a serious job at all. I have the final say on whether it's a serious job or not. You work for me, Dr. House reminded. Okay, House. Dr. Wilson, a good friend of Dr. House, was afraid that Dr. House would say something even more outrageous, so he quickly tried to smooth things over. Who are these people? Why are you looking for them? Good question. Dr. House smiled and said, it suddenly occurred to me that this name Adam is not the first time I've heard it. 4 years ago, on a plane to London, I met a noisy woman. Chapter 810, The Poisonous Tongue Man appears again. New Jersey. Princeton Teaching Hospital. A noisy woman? Dr. Wilson was confused. What does this have to do with Adam Duncan? Is she his ex-girlfriend? No, she's even better than his ex-girlfriend, Dr. House said proudly. She is Duncan's good friend. For someone like Adam Duncan, he doesn't take his good friends seriously even though he has so many of them. But it's different for his good friends. Did you have a conflict with Dr. Duncan? The beautiful Dr. Cameron stopped what she was doing and frowned. Let me guess. Dr. House glanced at her. He called my office first, and then you picked up the phone. Do you think he's a good person? Yes. The beautiful Dr. Cameron still couldn't stand Dr. House's ability to read people's minds, and complained. Fortunately you didn't say that I fell in love with him because of a phone call. You won't. Dr. House smiled confidently. Duncan's conditions are indeed perfect in the eyes of women, but he is just not the type you like. The beautiful Dr. Cameron was shocked and laughed at herself. Oh, what type do I like? You like incomplete and broken people, like me. Dr. House looked at her meaningfully. You are so arrogant. The beautiful Dr. Cameron forced a smile. I'll go get the phone book. House. Dr. Wilson, who liked the pitiful and warm-hearted man, looked at his good friend with dissatisfaction. What's wrong? Dr. House sat down on the chair, with his thighs directly on it, and said nonchalantly, we are doctors, we must face our psychological problems and not be afraid to seek medical treatment. The beautiful Dr. Cameron quickly adjusted her mood, walked in with a phone book, and began to sort by the letters on it, found Rachel's name, and began to dial Rachel's phone numbers one by one. The white handsome man Dr. Chiss obediently dialed Phoebe's phone number to find the right Phoebe. The middle-aged African-American Dr. Foreman was no exception. Hey, I thought you would stick to yourself. Dr. House stared at this subordinate who always liked to resist him, and was surprised. Among the 3 subordinates, he liked Foreman the most in his heart, because he knew that Foreman was the most like him, and he was most likely to take over his mantle and become the new him. The more this was the case, the more he liked to tease Foreman and torture Foreman, and wanted to see him resist him. If he could completely sublimate in this kind of resistance and become a new legend, and then torture him in turn, it would be even more interesting. I would have done it originally. Dr. Foreman sneered, but since you want to confront Adam Duncan, I'm very happy to help you do this kind of real work. You don't like him either. Dr. House understood. You want to see me fight him. It doesn't matter who wins or loses, because you don't like me even more. We are doctors. Dr. Foreman shrugged. You can't be afraid of seeing a doctor. You have to face your heart bravely, right? Dr. House smiled and glanced at his best friend. Dr. Wilson looked helpless. Of course, he could see his best friend's slightly twisted sense of pleasure. Phoebe. Dr. Chase, a handsome white man, was the first to get through, looking at Dr. House with a slightly rewarding look. It's not surprising. Compared with the very popular Rachel and Ross, the name Phoebe is still relatively rare. Hello, Phoebe. Dr. House gestured, took the phone that Dr. Chase handed over to him, and said with a smile, "Remember 4 years ago, Rachel took a plane to attend Ross and Emily's wedding in London at your reminder? Who am I?" A friend. After talking for a while, he got the phone number from Phoebe and hung up. No need to look for it. While dialing, Dr. House motioned Cameron and Foreman to stop. After the call was connected, he deliberately changed to a younger voice. "Hi, Rachel. Remember the person who sat next to you on the plane 4 years ago?" On the other end of the phone, Rachel was puzzled at first, but with Dr. House's reminder, she remembered it all at once and shouted, "You were that poisonous man." "Yes, it's me." Dr. House smiled. "How have you been recently?" "In the end, did you tell Ross what was in your heart?" "No." "Are you satisfied?" Rachel said angrily. "But you are wrong. He and Emily are not suitable at all. We are married now, and our daughter is 1 year old. We are a happy family." "Really?" Dr. House smiled. "Then congratulations, but I just said it casually at the time, and I was just repeating what your friend Adam said." "You also said that he advised you not to do that, didn't he?" But Adam didn't tell me that Ross cheated after we broke up," Rachel yelled. "You poisonous man, you are so mad at me." At that time, she was rushing to catch a flight to London and sat next to Dr. House. She needed to vent her worries, so she wanted to chat with the people around her, hoping to get support. But Dr. House first put on his headphones very rudely to show that he didn't want to talk to her. When she was chatting with others across the corridor, Dr. House took off his headphones, interrupted her, and said to her, "You are such a bad person." After she said "you are wrong" unhappily, he even stuffed his fist into his mouth in disgust and retorted in a funny way, "Oh, no." At the end, he added, "By the way, it is obvious that you did break up at that time." Ross slept with another woman on the night of the quarrel and the breakup. This was her biggest dissatisfaction and the handle that she would always hold in her hand. Therefore, Dr. House's poisonous tongue almost mad Rachel to death, so that 4 years later, when she talked about it, she remembered this poisonous man very clearly. "Oh, are you sure Adam didn't say that?" Dr. House brought the topic back to Adam. "What do you mean?" Rachel's attention was immediately drawn. Dr. House began to use his supermind reading ability to manipulate Rachel's emotions, constantly asking questions, trying to get to know Adam's privacy from Rachel. The people around were all numbed by the sight of Dr. House. The handsome white man Dr. Chase looked at the middle-aged African-American Dr. Foreman with sympathy, as if to say, "You should be thankful that Dr. House hasn't done anything to you yet." Foreman's mouth twitched. Of course he understood this look, but he had to admit in his heart that it was really creepy from an outsider's perspective. They kept chatting for a long time. Dr. House then hung up the phone with a smile, and then, in the stunned eyes of everyone, called Ross again. "Ross, I'm Rachel's friend. I supported you very much at the beginning. You owe me a favor. P.S. Thanks to the reward from Where the Wind Blows 404 Where I Go." Chapter 811. First meeting. Mars hits the Earth. One day passed in a flash. In the blink of an eye, it was already the night of the party. New Jersey. Outside Princeton Teaching Hospital. Courteous car? Seriously? Dr. House, who was leaning on a cane, looked at the luxurious extended Lincoln waiting at the door and complained to his good friend Dr. Wilson, "You are really rich and inhumane. This is respect." Dr. Wilson looked at the driver who got out of the car and came to open the door for them, with a smile on his face. "To be honest, House, Dr. Duncan is really good. Don't mess around." "Just such a small thing. You are bribed." Dr. House shook his head, avoided the driver who tried to help him, and limped in. "Cameron, You first." Dr. Wilson looked politely at the beautiful Dr. Cameron, who had been standing silently by the side. "Thank you." Dr. Cameron thanked him and bent down to get into the courtesy car. Dr. Wilson thanked the driver and also bent down to get in. The driver returned to the driver's seat, asked for instructions, and drove the courtesy car away smoothly. "House, seriously, don't mess around." Dr. Wilson looked at the spacious space of the courtesy car and couldn't help but remind his good friend again. Look, Dr. Duncan was picked up by a courtesy car, and the hotel he chose is the center of all the doctors. All the details have been considered very well. So, Dr. House opened the wine cabinet in the car, flipped through it, and responded nonchalantly, "This shows that Dr. Duncan respects us, and it also shows that Dr. Duncan is very thoughtful." Dr. Wilson looked at his good friend worriedly. "I know what you want to say." Dr. House curled his lips and said, "This is a typical case of when friends come, we have wine, when enemies come, we have shotguns, right?" "Yes." Dr. Wilson shook his head and said, "But it's not a shotgun, it's a Gatling gun. You talked on the phone for the first time yesterday, and he only sincerely invited you to the dinner, but you ridiculed him and asked him to wear women's clothes, which provoked his counterattack. This is purely your fault. I don't know what secret information you have got today to fight back against him, but I hope you will stop it and not make it out of control." "Not everyone is good-tempered." "You mean not everyone will accommodate a cripple like me, right?" Dr. House glanced at his good friend and immediately said what Dr. Wilson really wanted to say where he paused. "That's not what I meant." Dr. Wilson looked at Dr. House apologetically. "But now that we are talking about this, if you go too far, not everyone will accommodate your willfulness and bad taste, especially Adam Duncan, who is also talented and has achieved such success at a young age. I'm sure he won't accommodate you." "That's interesting." Dr. House smiled, and seeing his good friend's ugly face, he teased, "Don't worry, I'm here to make friends with him. Of course, if you don't agree, forget it." "Of course I agree," Dr. Wilson said with a smile. "I wish you had more friends, so you don't have to drag me every night. Don't put all the troubles in your marriage on my head." Dr. House mocked. Dr. Wilson was speechless. As a person who can be the only good friend of Dr. House, who has serious psychological problems, he naturally has his problems. The beautiful Dr. Cameron was speechless throughout the whole process. Ever since Dr. House revealed her view on mate selection, she didn't dare to take the initiative to answer. Zishan Hotel. When the courtesy car arrived, Adam was already waiting outside. "Dr. Wilson, Dr. Cameron, welcome." Adam stepped forward and opened the door for the two of them enthusiastically. Experts from various fields were invited to this small party tonight. The reason why they were willing to come was naturally because of Adam's face. This was a big favor. Therefore, Adam not only sent a courtesy car to greet each expert, but also stood at the door to greet them. After all, in addition to young talents like the beautiful Dr. Cameron, many experts are middle-aged and elderly seniors, and Adam deserves to give them as much respect as possible. "Dr. House, you are here too. What a pleasant surprise." Adam looked at Dr. House, who came out last, and smiled. "I can't help it." Dr. House glanced at his good friend and his eyes fell on Adam. After examining him, he smiled and said, "Dr. Duncan is so enthusiastic, how can I not come?" "Well, I'm here to make friends." "That's great." Adam smiled and said, "Everyone here tonight is an expert in various fields. As long as you are willing, Dr. House, you will definitely make satisfactory friends." "Them? They are just some boring guys." Dr. House curled his lips and said, "You are very interesting. I'm here to make friends with you." "My honor." Adam raised his eyebrows. "Here." Dr. House took out a business card from his pocket. "This is my mother's contact information. I know what you want, Dr. Wilson." "Dr. Cameron." Adam narrowed his eyes, took it naturally, nodded and smiled. "If I need it, I will call Mrs. House." "Everyone." "Gray." Adam put the business card in his pocket and waved to Lexi behind him. "You take Dr. Wilson and Dr. Cameron in, both. Please follow me." Lexi hurried forward and invited respectfully. "Dr. Wilson, Dr. Cameron, you go in with Dr. Gray first. I have some medical questions to ask Dr. House, and I will come later." Adam smiled. "Go ahead, Adam and I are already friends." Dr. House smiled at his good friend. Don't have that expression, it will make people misunderstand that we have a relationship beyond friendship, which is not good. There are many beautiful women here tonight. Dr. Wilson was helpless, but it was not easy to say anything else. He could only follow Lexi into the hotel, looking back every few steps. Dr. House, is there any misunderstanding between us? Adam sighed after everyone left. No misunderstanding. Dr. House looked at Adam with interest. I feel more and more that we are the best partners. A forced melon is not sweet. Adam shook his head and said, we have different philosophies, which is why I have never applied to you. I know. Dr. House nodded and said, you only want to save the 99% of patients who can be saved, and I only want to save the 1%. Isn't the 99% more worth saving? Adam looked at Dr. House. As long as you are willing, you can save more people. So what? Dr. House said indifferently, those who are destined to die will still die. People like us should focus our energy on the most cutting-edge and most unlikely 1%. This will promote the advancement of medicine and allow mediocre doctors to easily use our scientific research results to treat the 99% you want to treat. Chapter 812 Kung Fu. You have a cane. I have a US dollar. Zishan Hotel. Entrance. Why can't we have them all? Adam smiled and said, actually, my goal is 100% of the patient group. Otherwise there wouldn't be this party tonight. Come on. Dr. House glanced at Adam and said, we are not children anymore. We need to know how to make choices in the adult world. We can go all out. Adam retorted, that's because of all your girlfriends. Dr. House sneered, energy is limited. The more you give to your girlfriends, the less you have for the patients, not to mention 100% coverage of the patient population. That's for optimizing genes and working for the future evolution of mankind. It's better than you defiling those motivated female college students. Adam countered, and my energy is relatively unlimited. Wow, you're so confident. I often chat with those female college students who receive my donations, and they tell me that many donors like to say that. Do you know what they think? They will only chuckle in their hearts. Ah, men. Dr. House smiled, and according to what you said, I'm also providing donations for the future of mankind and for female college students who can't afford to go to school. Isn't this contributing to improving the overall quality of human civilization, contributing to the evolution of a civilization? Adam sneered. You know that we doctors are easy to be infected, right? Especially doctors like you who donate money to female college students you don't know every day. I'm a professional in this area, Dr. House said unconcernedly. I like targeted donations, and my probability of getting infected is actually about the same as yours. Was your math taught by a physical education teacher? Adam's face turned cold. Or are you stupid because you use your working time that should have been used to treat patients and save lives to watch boring soap operas? If you had this time, you would have saved countless more people. Among these people, there may be geniuses who could have made greater contributions to human evolution than you. Maybe, maybe not. This is Schrödinger's state. Instead of believing in something so illusory, I believe in myself more. Dr. House shrugged and said, what you see is watching boring soap operas, and what I see is relaxing the brain, leaving space for creation and inspiration, and accumulating energy. Then it can only be said that your inspiration-realization ratio is really too inefficient. Adam shook his head and said, in that case, it is better not to deliberately pursue inspiration, but to work hard to treat patients and save lives while waiting for inspiration to come. This will be a great benefit to both others and yourself. With such a low inspiration-realization ratio, why did you invite me? Dr. House smiled and said, you are not really interested in my mom, are you? Since you pay so much attention to me, you probably know that my dad and I are enemies and have a very bad relationship. As long as you and my mom are sincere, I wish you all the best. Enough. Adam frowned and said, after all, they are your mom and dad, please give them some respect. Don't be excited. Dr. House smiled self-deprecatingly. It seems that your attention to me is not enough. Otherwise you wouldn't be so excited. I'm not excited. Adam sneered. This is just a person who enjoys and values family affection, and he can't stand another person who ignores family affection and doesn't even give the most basic respect. I know what you mean. That's why I said your dad instead of your father. But this is not an excuse for you to speak so recklessly, you know? Dr. House was really surprised this time. I've seen photos of your father. Adam nodded and said, there are contradictions in your genetic information, as expected of you. We really have a lot in common. Dr. House was delighted at first. Then his expression was complicated and he said, Dad is not my father. I saw it when I was 12 years old. It makes no difference. Adam looked at him and said, Father is the one who gave birth to me, and Dad is the one who raised me. The grace of giving birth is not as great as the grace of raising me. Even if you have conflicts during this process, you should not completely ignore this grace of raising me. And no matter how your father treats you, your mother is always your biological mother and loves you. You shouldn't joke about this kind of thing. I'm not kidding. Dr. House shook his head and said, since I was born, it means that my mother is not the kind of loyal woman. This is the hormones at work, and I can understand it. With your conditions, my mother will definitely like you. As for you, I think as long as the appearance is online and age is not a problem, I don't think my mother is much worse than Nora Bing. And considering how much you value Nora Bing's son Chandler Bing, and the fact that we are very compatible, I think I will get along very well with you, my little stepfather. Everything is perfect. At this point, he glanced at Adam and tilted his head. Yeah, I did my homework in advance. This kind of thing is easy to find out. You won't forget that you took Nora Bing to the Columbia University welcome dance, right? What's more interesting is that 4 years ago, when I flew to London to meet Stacy, the noisy and terrible woman next to me was your good friend Rachel. See, we are really destined to be together. Dr. House, you've crossed the line, Adam said expressionlessly. No, you crossed the line. Dr. House smiled. I'm just stating a fact. No, I didn't cross the line, Adam said calmly. I knew her before, but I didn't know her identity at the time. When I found out afterwards, I immediately severed ties with her. I have done nothing to let my friend down. If you really got words from Rachel, you should know that I am very principled. Indeed. Dr. House nodded, but this doesn't explain the weirdness of your relationship with Chandler. Your concern for Chandler far exceeds that of other friends, doesn't it? Isn't this subconscious mentality also crossing the line to some extent? Adam paused, took a deep breath, and looked at Dr. House. Is this a threat? Of course not. Dr. House smiled. Aren't we making fun of each other? How interesting. You can make fun of harm that has already happened, but harm that hasn't happened is a threat. Adam stared at Dr. House and said word by word, you've talked to Rachel, and you should know that I value friendship very much. Once your so-called complaints and sarcasm are leaked, even if Chandler will understand and forgive me 100% afterwards, it will inevitably cause him some psychological damage, which I absolutely cannot allow. So now you are so careless and repeatedly use this to complain and ridicule. For me, it is no longer a complaint or ridicule, but a 100% threat. Is that so? Dr. House and Adam looked at each other for a while, and the corners of his mouth curled up. How do you deal with threats? Chapter 813 I'll tell you, and you'll listen. Zishan Hotel. Entrance. Facing Dr. House's still frivolous and joking tone, Adam also smiled. How will I deal with threats? Of course, equal retaliation. Wow, this equal retaliation, is it the kind of equal I imagined? Dr. House laughed even more happily. 1 to 100 equal, want to hear it? Adam smiled. Of course. Dr. House leaned on his crutches to change his posture and glanced at Adam. And even if I don't want to hear it, you will definitely tell me, right? You are worthy of it. Adam nodded and smiled. Unless it is absolutely necessary. He does not want to take action against Dr. House. First, if he takes action, it means that the damage to Chandler has been done. Second, if he takes action, a legend will end. This is a huge loss to the entire medical community, to the kind people in the entire American drama world, and even to him. Therefore, the best way is to remind the other party that he is seriously concerned about this, and describe the consequences to the other party as much as possible. so as to dispel the ending he least wants to see. "Do you know what kind of people I hate the most? It's not someone like me, right?" Dr. House smiled and said, "Not really?" "Of course not." Adam smiled and said, "Dr. House is a legend. We doctors who are dedicated to medicine admire you very much. How could we hate you the most?" Admire the most and hate the most. There is no contradiction. Dr. House hit the nail on the head. Insightful. Adam nodded, but shook his head and said, "But in what I said, this is not completely equal. The person I hate the most is the Western poisoning thing." Dr. House was speechless. "You said so much, but it was in vain." He already knew what Adam wanted to say. Once they're addicted, they won't care and will sell anything. "That kind of extreme scene is like the devil crawling out of hell," Adam said indirectly. "This kind of people are the ones I hate the most, but sometimes I sympathize with some of them." "Oh, why?" Although Dr. House understood, he cooperated and acted as a supporting actor. "Just because your name is Adam, it doesn't mean you are an angel willing to save the devil, right? As long as it's interesting, he doesn't mind people scolding him." "No." Adam shook his head. "The reason why I feel a little sympathy for some of them is that in such a large group, many people entered passively, and the pushers here are partly our doctors. Speaking of this, I think you should know what I am talking about, right?" "That's right. Many of our doctors prescribe painkillers indiscriminately. Whenever there is a headache, fever, or a minor illness, they prescribe painkillers. Take one tablet and the pain will disappear immediately. It looks great. Unfortunately, after doing this for a few times, when you encounter a problem again, one tablet can no longer solve the problem. At that time, if one tablet doesn't work, then 2 tablets will do. If 2 tablets don't work, then 3 tablets will do. The dosage is getting larger and larger, and the more you take, the more painkillers that were originally used to treat diseases and save lives have been eaten into the effect of calves. Pharmaceutical companies are making a lot of money, and doctors are also very easy and worry-free. But what about the patients, especially those victims who are not aware of the problem, but finally become addicted and ruin their families? So, as doctors, we also have some pots there. But if our doctors know this situation, and still prescribe painkillers for themselves, taking them all day long like taking bins, that is breaking the law knowingly, and the crime is even more serious, and it is not worth sympathy. Dr. House, don't you think so? Such a person really does not deserve your sympathy. Dr. House nodded and said, "He doesn't need your sympathy either, as long as it is normal to take medicine. There is nothing to say. After all, he is in pain." "Normal?" Adam glanced at Dr. House's lame leg and smiled. "I don't think so. I think he is just a broken pot. He doesn't need to take drugs like that to relieve pain, at least not so frequently." "Taking drugs to relieve pain at that level, I dare say he is addicted." "And these addicted people are actually quite pitiful, because once his drug source is cut off, he will be addicted to it, and he will be worse than death. Such people must be most afraid of this. So they will stock up a lot of drugs and hide a little everywhere, for fear that one day they will encounter the dilemma of being addicted to drugs but unable to get the drugs. So I think if I searched, I would be able to find the maximum amount of drugs that far exceeds what a normal patient would have in a month. Maybe there is more than a year's worth of stock. By then, it would be enough to convict him of trafficking." "Why would you search someone's house for no reason?" Dr. House pursed his lips, still smiling. But his smile was no longer as carefree as before. "That's too easy." Adam laughed. "What if he gets caught by the NIPD while speeding?" "Of course, the NIPD is on legal duty and won't arrest people for no reason. I'm talking about what if. It's not easy for the court to issue a search warrant for an innocent person, but what about someone with a criminal record?" "These are not a big deal." Dr. House laughed. "At most, he will be fined and all his stockpiled goods will be confiscated, and he will be prohibited from prescribing painkillers to himself in the future." "Well, that's true when people without the ability to pay express their concern." Adam nodded. "But the most interesting thing will come later. Who will he ask for medicine? You know, he is already addicted, and no matter who it is, as long as the other party is still rational, they will not prescribe a satisfactory amount of medicine for him." "Wouldn't it be more painful to stop after a taste and not be able to indulge himself?" Who will spoil him? That can only be the people who truly love him, and the irony is that he will harm these people by then. People who care about him will not prescribe such a large amount for him, but will only persuade him to quit addiction. What will he do then? Under the strong physical demand, it will even affect his spirit. There is no doubt that he will do whatever it takes. If he still has a little conscience, he will not imitate the handwriting of those who care about him, use their prescriptions to prescribe drugs for himself, and let these people who care about him break the law without knowing it. But the easiest way to get it is precisely with the help of these people who care about him, because other ways to get drugs will be seriously concerned by some people. At that time, between the endless pain of addiction and not dragging those who care about him into the water, how will he choose? Haha. I think we all have the answer. At the beginning, he was unwilling to endure even a little pain, let alone the extreme pain brought by this addiction. He will only drag one person who cares about him into the water. And at that time, those who are seriously concerned will ensure that there are laws to follow, laws must be followed, and violations must be punished. The only good friend, the female boss who gave him the only place to stand, and the ambiguous relationship, all those brilliant achievements and beautiful life, will disappear because of him. In the end, he might go from being a high-ranking person to a hellish person, becoming a street wanderer. His beloved ex-wife might stand up for him and fight a vigorous lawsuit for him after hearing the news. But in the face of facts and money, he would only lose his reputation and might be kicked out of the law firm, becoming a wanderer like his best friend and female boss. Of course, he still has his family who loves him, but according to the principle of equal retaliation, friends are family. All the previous things were just appetizers. Chapter 814. The New Anchor Point of Evil. Zishan Hotel. While the outside was making a well-reasoned and well-organized statement, Dr. Wilson, who had entered first, was uneasy and looked outside from time to time. Don't worry. Without Dr. House present, the beautiful Dr. Cameron was more natural and advised with a smile. You don't know. Dr. Wilson was entangled and said, with House's temper, it's unimaginable if he meets Duncan. He was not in the hospital yesterday and today. He must have gone to investigate Duncan. That's no big deal. The beautiful Dr. Cameron still had a good impression of Adam and smiled disapprovingly. They are both legends. It is inevitable that they attract each other. Even if there are any conflicts, just solve them. Don't just see the risks here and not the opportunities here. Opportunities? Dr. Wilson was stunned. Yes. The beautiful Dr. Cameron glanced at him and said, what I see is opportunities. After you. Dr. House has a new anchor point. Cameron, you. Dr. Wilson was surprised. Of course he understood what Dr. Cameron meant. As a good friend of Dr. House, he always knew that Dr. House was dark inside because of the unpleasant experience with his father when he was young, and he was pessimistic about human nature, and he saw everything this way. Of course, it was different from Lindea's sadness in spring and autumn. He used arrogance and venom to sharply point out the shadow of human nature hidden under the sun, making others ashamed and angry, and sad in spring and autumn. If others could refute him and slap him in the face with different facts, he would be very happy. Unfortunately, his sharp vision made him right most of the time. He did make others sad, but he himself was not much better. This kind of arrogant and venomous life with a dark tone took another step after his accident. At that time, he had deep vein thrombosis in his thigh, which was too painful. He wanted to rely on anesthesia to get through it. Before he fainted, he repeatedly told his wife to believe in his professional medical judgment. But after he fainted, his wife, who could make decisions for him, chose to believe the doctor who performed the operation, causing him to be lame forever after waking up and in endless pain every day. The physical pain made him take the painkiller Vicodin every day, causing him to become addicted to drugs. The mental pain made his original pessimistic attitude towards human nature reach its limit, and he had the idea of abandoning the world. This is also the reason why he is a legendary doctor. He knows that as the dosage increases, there is a risk of sudden death at any time, but he doesn't care at all. The reason why he still stays in this gray world is the anchor points that pull him in. The first anchor point is naturally the medical puzzle game inherited from Holmes and Watson, so he is only interested in difficult and complicated diseases. This kind of mental excitement can even suppress physical pain for a time. The second anchor point is naturally a good friend like Dr. Wilson, Dr. Cuddy, the dean who gave him the only place to stand and his rather ambiguous feelings, and his mother who loves him. In the eyes of Dr. Cameron, Adam will be Dr. House's new anchor point. For Dr. House, who has abandoned the world, multiple anchor points are always good. Do you really like House like this? Dr. Wilson finally couldn't help it. There was no way. He was too curious. As House's good friend for many years, he knew that House's condition was normal. But Cameron was just recruited by House, and she didn't have House's mind-reading ability. How could she tell House's deep state in one sentence? In addition to the fact that Cameron, as House pointed out yesterday, liked the broken and shattered type of people like House, and perhaps had a unique feeling for this type of people, he really couldn't think of any other reason. No, Dr. Cameron shook his head and turned his face away without much explanation. Obviously, this denial was not firm enough. Dr. Wilson looked at Cameron and his eyes suddenly changed, full of pity. He was also sick, and he liked to be sympathetic to women. A beautiful woman who liked broken and shattered personalities must have had an unfortunate past. For this kind of women, he always slept with them first as a sign of respect. After sleeping with them well, he patted their butts and left. Therefore, every relationship he experienced, whether it was his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife, they all spoke highly of him, and the score was never lower than 4 stars. There was not a single one who fell out with him. Still good friends after breaking up. This is a very suitable description for Dr. Wilson. Although Dr. Cameron seems to like his good friend House, it doesn't matter. He knows House doesn't mind this kind of thing, and he even hopes that House minds. According to Dr. Cameron, this is a new anchor point. Just when Dr. Wilson was secretly giving himself a thumbs up, Adam smiled and pushed the door open, and Dr. House limped in. How was it? When Dr. House sat down next to him, Dr. Wilson couldn't wait to know the content of the conversation. Cameron also looked over. Dr. House did not speak. He first took out a yellow medicine bottle from his pocket, unscrewed it, and poured out several Vicodin pills from it into his palm. He put it into his mouth skillfully, tilted his head back to swallow it, closed the medicine bottle and put it in his arms. Then he looked at Adam who was walking on the stage and complained, "This kid is too evil." That's better. Seeing that his good friend was actually willing to give in, Dr. Wilson couldn't help laughing. "You are all very evil. He may become your new anchor point." Dr. House understood it immediately. He glanced at Cameron and saw that he turned his face away. Then he set his eyes on his good friend again and smiled meaningfully. "New anchor point? Haha. How can this be a new anchor point? If you are not careful, this will probably become the only anchor point. Others, including the good friend who is laughing now, will be killed by this new anchor point." Without waiting for the good friend to continue asking, Dr. House moved his eyes to Adam who was giving a speech on the stage. Originally, he just thought Adam was very interesting, and habitually wanted to understand Adam, and then they would spit and ridicule each other for fun. But who would have thought that Adam would explode directly, and immediately said a series of very practical revenge plans, all of which were fatal blows. He has the ability to read minds. Of course he can see that Adam is speaking the truth. As long as he dares to move again, Adam will immediately equally retaliate. If it was just him, he would not only not be afraid, but also watch Adam's vigorous and resolute actions with a smile. But Adam pointed out his few anchor points, and he was ready to cut the grass and rout it out. No matter how proud and unkind he was, he didn't want to let the people he cared about pay a heavy price for his momentary verbal spree. Interesting, although threatened by Adam, Dr. House didn't have much anger. After giving up the idea of teasing Adam with Chandler's affairs, he even wanted to laugh. A talented genius, who is so humble and polite on the outside, but so evil on the inside, always cutting the grass and rooting out. It's really interesting. This gloomy world needs more evil geniuses like this to make it colorful. Chapter 815 Humanoid Statue, Primordial Spirit Hawking. Zishan Hotel. The brainstorming meeting of experts was very successful, especially Dr. House, who gave Adam a lot of inspiration. After the party, in the following period, Adam did not start taking over new cases immediately, but continued to verify the inspiration he got at the party, optimize the virus, and design operations. Of course, he did not forget the first priority of curing diseases, saving lives and increasing life every day. But the most important thing during this period is not these. It's little Adam. That's right, Monica's due date has arrived, and she has been admitted to the VIP ward arranged by Adam early. She can't compare with Rachel, who has a good foundation, and she doesn't value the baby in her belly as much as the carefree Rachel. Therefore, everything is done in accordance with the precautions. Dr. Montgomery, I'm going to trouble you again. Adam naturally went to Dr. Montgomery, the famous director of the neonatology department. How do you feel? Dr. Montgomery joked. Your friends are pregnant, having children, and becoming parents? When can you ask me for help for yourself? I wish them all the best. Adam smiled. As for asking you for help for myself, Dr. Montgomery, I will definitely ask you for help if there is a chance, as long as you haven't retired by then. Dr. Montgomery's face darkened. Are you making fun of yourself? Or are you mocking me? Of course I'm making fun of myself, Adam quickly explained. I was just joking, saying that it would be a long time before I get married and have children. Dr. Montgomery still had a dark face. Really? It will take at least 20 years for me to retire. You are 26 now. Do you mean you will have to wait until you are over 50 to get married and have children? Human life expectancy is constantly increasing. Adam smiled. By then, 50 years old will be just a young man. Isn't that good? That's true for you men. Dr. Montgomery nodded. But what about women? Who of the women who are good to you now can wait for more than 20 years? Do you really want to repeat the director's story? Richard, the chief of surgery, is in his 50s and can still give birth. But his wife is an elderly mother, which is not only dangerous, but also easy to miscarry if not careful. Therefore, men can wait, but women cannot. They are in good health, as long as they want. This is not a problem. Adam smiled slightly, extremely confident. Dr. Montgomery looked at Adam with a squint and said contemptuously, I know, you don't have to repeat the story of the chief. You can find a new person to give birth to your child when the time comes. Scumbag. This is really not. Adam wanted to explain, but he paused when he got to his mouth. How can he explain? Say that as long as he wants, they will always be 18 years old? If he really said it, he would probably be pounced on by the person in front of him. By then, it will definitely be more exaggerated than that lucky man who can help women find true love as soon as they sleep with each other, and has the attribute of a matchmaker. After all, for women, happiness is only relative, but the eternal youth is absolute. This is the real one bird in the hand is not as good as 10 birds in the bush. That lucky guy was fierce deceived by his former male classmate who changed his tricks, and then challenged the 800-pound Sailor Moon. Adam definitely didn't want to experience any similar experience. After saying goodbye to Dr. Montgomery, who was full of contempt, Adam went to the VIP ward to see Monica again, and told the nurses here, and then went to the ward. Kelly, the chief resident of orthopedics, took over a very rare case, and Adam naturally wouldn't miss it. Fop, are you sure? As soon as Adam arrived, he heard Christina's uncontrollable excitement. Oh my god, progressive myositis ossificans. We can actually encounter such a case. Is it really Fop? Adam walked over and couldn't help but confirm. Yes. Kelly smiled and said, this is the first time in my life, and I guess this is the only chance I can encounter, so I hope everyone won't get excited and stare at the patient later. Okay. Adam nodded, full of interest in the next case. Fop, progressive myositis ossificans, is a hereditary disease that turns muscle into bone, aka patients will gradually ossify and eventually become a human-shaped statue. In the ward, if you are interns, please stay away from me, the patient's daughter said excitedly when she saw everyone coming in. Lena, don't be so rude. A middle-aged woman was carried by 3 nurses and placed on the bed. She couldn't move at all, really like a talking statue. My mother's face and hands can still move. The patient's daughter Lena suppressed her anger. I don't want her condition to get worse, so please be careful. If you use too much force during the examination or accidentally touch her, it will cause bone hyperplasia. There is already a precedent, so I'm not targeting anyone. but I absolutely don't allow clumsy interns to get close to my mother. Okay, no problem. Christina waved her interns to step back, and then smiled. We are all the best residents. Don't worry, I just have gastroenteritis or a cold. But Lena insisted that I come to the hospital, the patient said helplessly. She is vomiting blood and eating painkillers as candy. Lena interrupted. Dr. Duncan, come here. Seeing that Lena was staring at everyone, Kelly called Adam and explained to Lena, Dr. Duncan is the best resident here. He has incredible control over his strength and will never hurt your mother. Okay. Lena looked at Adam, her vigilance reduced a little, and nodded. I know him. He was on TV that time and was very impressive. Adam smiled and nodded at her. He stepped forward and gently lifted the patient's clothes. After a careful examination, he said, your progressive myositis ossificans has relapsed. I'm more worried about your vomiting symptoms. It may be internal bleeding. A CORT scan is needed to confirm the diagnosis. Internal bleeding? Lena was shocked. How could this happen? You said she took painkillers as candy? Adam reminded. This may cause damage to internal organs and cause internal bleeding. Mom. Lena looked at the patient with worry and complaint. Doctor, what if it's internal bleeding? The patient smiled and said, I can't have surgery anymore, right? Will it be painful if I don't have surgery? Yeah. Adam nodded. Surgery will stimulate bone hyperplasia, which will do more harm than good. Let's do a CORT scan to confirm the diagnosis first. Everyone heard it. The patient clearly didn't want to live, but everyone could understand that with this disease, it can be said that life is worse than death. What does it mean to be unable to move? Perhaps it's just a little more light and breathing than being buried alive. The one who supported, or pulled her, and didn't let her leave was just because her daughter didn't want her to leave. After all, not everyone is Hawking, trapped in a body, but can still leave the body, travel the universe, travel the timeline, and have endless fun. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 816, Indecision, Shelley's Science, Medical Center. Adam took his patient, Mrs. Rogerson, to do a CORT scan. Mrs. Rogerson's daughter stayed in the ward and kept building a dollhouse. It was Monica's favorite, a panoramic miniature villa. Everything inside was a real miniature version, and it could be powered on. The lights were bright and colorful, and there were happy little people living in it. Mrs. Rogerson used to like playing with this very much, and she built her dream life with her own hands. Later, she passed it on to her daughter. Now she has this disease and has no interest in life. When Mrs. Rogerson's daughter was with her, she pulled her to build a new dollhouse. First, let her mother do more and delay the onset of the disease. Second, this was once her mother's favorite, and it was somewhat comforting to do this. In fact, this was just the idea of Mrs. Rogerson's daughter. The daughter also made small parts, such as small glass windows, sofas, coffee tables, etc., and put them in her mother's hands to let her feel them and force her to participate. Doctor, will it hurt? Mrs. Rogerson, who was pushed over, looked at Adam expectantly. Adam was speechless. Mrs. Rogerson, you should be more positive. Christina, who was following beside him, could not help but persuade him. FOP is not the end of the world. Do you know Hawking? He has amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. In fact, it is similar to you. He can't move at all, but this does not prevent him from having a rich spiritual life and becoming one of the most famous scientists in the world. Oh, I know Hawking. Mrs. Rogerson, the patient, smiled. You are indeed right, but not completely. Oh? Christina looked at her in surprise. Hawking is indeed very similar to me, but he is not as painful as me. Mrs. Rogerson laughed at herself. Because he is not really unable to move, the key tissues of his body can actually move. This has covered half of the happiness of normal people. How can I compare with him? Christina was stunned. After being reminded by Mrs. Rogerson, she remembered this. Hawking not only has a soul out of his body, but also travels across the universe and travels through time. His body is actually not much worse, The convenience brought by fame and fortune not only allows him to have computer sound and a mechanic like Howard the space plumber in the future, but also allows him to have a life that many normal people may not be able to experience. For example, beautiful nurses who change from time to time. Another example is to let students take him to the dancer club to have fun. In this respect, Mrs. Rogerson is completely incomparable to Hawking, because she has FOP. The slightest touch will cause bone hyperplasia, not to mention wanting to be as cool as Hawking. Therefore, even if she suddenly awakens her genius IQ from now on and likes to explore the mysteries of the universe, she may not be able to live as wonderfully as Hawking. The heart is not everything in life. Adam glanced at Christina and comforted Mrs. Rogerson. I have a friend who is a fan of Hawking, but he really only cares about the brain to study the mysteries of the universe. If possible, he would rather put his brain in a machine. So your situation is really not the end of the world. Moreover, technology is changing with each passing day, and so is medical technology. Perhaps in a few years, FOP will have new breakthroughs and new treatments that can completely help you recover your health. As long as you are alive, there is hope. You have such a friend, huh? Mrs. Rogerson smiled as if she was making friends out of nothing. How old is he? Has he not experienced the heart yet? Don't tell me, you don't know that the heart is something that is completely different from one's mentality to another. His name is Sheldon, Adam introduced calmly, but he felt helpless in his heart, because Sheldon really hasn't experienced it yet. In the future, he will experience it and enjoy it, and it will basically be the bubble of the year, which is completely rubbing the idiom you know the taste after you have tasted the marrow on the ground. In Adam's opinion, this is a bit unrealistic. Only in the world of American TV series can there be such a magical Sheldon. It's a pity that he can't use Sheldon's future performance as an example. He's still too young. After listening to the introduction of Sheldon, Mrs. Rogerson smiled and said, he doesn't understand the world yet. It's different. As they talked, everyone came to the scanning room. The result of the tomography scan was indeed internal bleeding. And it was severe internal bleeding. Mrs. Rogerson heard that if she didn't have surgery, she would die within a day, and she immediately showed an expectant look. No, Lena couldn't accept it. There must be other ways. Indeed there are. Adam nodded. We can insert a catheter into Mrs. Rogerson's groin and use the catheter to induce embolism in the area. This is the least invasive surgery within our capabilities, but according to Mrs. Rogerson's current physical condition, this surgery is also very dangerous. Lena. Mrs. Rogerson looked at her daughter cautiously. No. Lena knew what her mother wanted to say and shook her head firmly. Mom, don't give up hope. As long as you persist, there will be hope. For me, please. Ah. Mrs. Rogerson sighed and stopped talking. To the operation. Lena looked at Adam. Okay. Adam nodded, and explained the operation process and the corresponding risks in detail, and asked Lena, the current guardian, to sign. We have to draw blood for preoperative examination first. Be careful, you can only use one blood vessel. Lena immediately went into a strict state of control. Obviously, she did a lot of homework for her mother's illness. Don't worry. Adam was originally going to let the nurse do it, but now he still drew blood himself. Your skills are really good. An expert can tell whether there is a problem as soon as he makes a move. Lena was relieved when she saw it. Adam smiled and nodded, handed the blood sample to Carter, and then began to prepare for the operation. Operating room. Still bleeding. Platinum microsprings, polyvinyl alcohol, gelatin sponge. I've used everything I could, but nothing worked. Systolic blood pressure has dropped to 62. We need to operate on her, Adam said. If we operate, she'll die. Kelly, an orthopedic assistant, reminded. If we don't operate now, she'll die too. Adam looked at Kelly. Kelly sighed and watched Adam try his best to stop the bleeding by operating on Mrs. Rogerson. This time, no miracle happened. Gray. Adam stopped and called Lexi. Time of death, 15:34. Lexi glanced at the time and announced the time of death. Carter, O'Malley, I'll leave this to you. Adam gave instructions and took the little guy and Lexi to meet Mrs. Rogerson's daughter, Lena. In the ward, a glass window was ready. Lena was about to install it. When she saw Adam and the others coming over and saw their expressions, she dropped the glass window in her hand and it fell to the ground. shattering all over the floor. Chapter 817, We Are Not in a Hurry, Don't Shout. 777, At Night, Medical Center, Obstetrics and Gynecology VIP Ward. Adam took advantage of the break between surgeries to come and talk to Monica. The first person to arrive was Rachel, who was pushing little Emma. The little princess is here. Adam nodded to Rachel, walked over and leaned over to look at his goddaughter Emma, who was staring at him with wide eyes in the stroller. When little Emma saw Adam leaning over, her mouth immediately pursed, and she turned her head to look at Rachel pitifully. "Look, Emma didn't even kiss you," Rachel complained. "You are a little derelict in your duty as a godfather." "My fault." Although Adam knew that little Emma was probably traumatized by his vaccination, he still admitted his fault and said, "I'm really too busy. Let's have a good party on Emma's first birthday. Then it's settled." Rachel said to her daughter happily, "Did you hear that, Emma? Your godfather Adam is going to attend your birthday party. Are you happy?" Little Emma laughed out loud at her mother's teasing. The smile of a child is innocent, not to mention that little Emma, who inherited Rachel's genes, is even more adorable. In addition, the relationship between little Emma and Adam, the children are all good, and Adam couldn't control the arc of his mouth. "Adam, you can really consider getting married." Monica, who was resting on the hospital bed, touched her big belly, looked at Adam's rare expression when he looked at Emma, and couldn't help laughing. "When the time comes, you will have a daughter yourself. I guarantee you will be happy to death." "No hurry." Adam shook his head and smiled. He didn't doubt Monica's words. In his past and present lives, he had seen too much happiness of men who were slaves to their daughters. "Adam, did you say bad things about me behind my back?" Rachel teased little Emma for a while, and suddenly thought of something and looked at Adam. "Huh?" Adam was stunned, and then suddenly realized, "Did the poisonous man you met on the plane 4 years ago tell you?" "How do you know?" Rachel widened her eyes. "Didn't he say that he couldn't say it?" Adam was speechless. "If you can't say it, you've said it now." "What's that mean-spirited guy? What's going on?" Since Monica became pregnant, she has been filtering out all the information. She doesn't know about many negative news that can affect her mood. "It's that guy," Rachel quickly explained, then looked at Adam. "Do you really know him?" "Of course I do." Adam smiled and said, Let me put it this way. Do you remember Roger, Phoebe's ex-boyfriend who is a psychologist?" "Of course I remember," Monica and Rachel said in unison. "The mean-spirited guy Rachel met is 100 times more hateful than Roger. Think about it." Adam smiled. "Impossible." Monica shook her head and said, "Roger is a great psychologist who can make everyone hate him. How could there be someone who is 100 times more hateful than him?" "You don't believe it?" Adam looked at the two of them. Roger's little knowledge of psychology will be completely defeated in front of this poisonous-tongued man. This poisonous-tongued man is a real master of psychology. He can see through your heart, and in order to complain about you, he will go to great lengths to find out your secrets. For this purpose, he will spend money and time, and even risk going to jail, to sneak into your home and look through your privacy to verify his guess, just to expose your inner privacy to your face. How does he compare to Roger? Oh my God, isn't this too scary? Monica and Rachel were stunned. Rachel realized it later and cried out, "Adam, he called me to find out your privacy, and then to expose your inner secrets in person. Why else would he ask you not to tell me?" Adam glanced at Rachel. "He just wanted to catch me off guard." "Then what was the result?" Rachel apologized. "I am frank and have nothing to hide," Adam said frankly. Of course he returned empty-handed. This is not a lie. He communicated with Dr. House frankly and confessed some of his insignificant plans in advance. Dr. House was moved by Adam's frank life and stopped on his own initiative. It's that simple. This guy is so hateful. Rachel was very upset that Dr. House used her. "Stay away from him," Adam warned. "Don't contact him again. Otherwise once he gets interested in you, he can play with you until you collapse." He himself is a world-weary person, and such a person is too dangerous. Although I know that Dr. House will probably not tell about the past between him and Nora after understanding who he is, but for the sake of safety, I still warn Rachel and the others first. Yeah, Rachel nodded naturally. "Emma will be 1 year old in more than a month. Remember to bring her here for vaccination on time." Adam smiled and changed the subject when he saw Rachel nod. Oh, poor Emma. When Rachel and Monica heard this, their attention immediately turned to little Emma, looking at her pink face with sympathy. Little Emma cried so hard during the first few vaccinations. In the American TV world, babies start to get various vaccines from birth. The first vaccine is the hepatitis B vaccine. The first shot is given when the baby is just born. The second shot is given between 1 month and 2 months old. The third shot is given between 6 months and 18 months old. After 6 months old, she started to get polio vaccine and flu vaccine. The flu vaccine is 1 shot per year. Little Emma is now almost 11 months old, and she has already had 5 shots and cried 5 times. This is just the beginning. Wait for more than a month. 12 months after her first birthday, little Emma will have to get the influenza B Haemophilus influenzae vaccine, pneumococcal combined vaccine, measles, mumps and rubella vaccine, varicella vaccine, hepatitis A vaccine, diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus vaccine, rotavirus vaccine. These are all mature vaccines that have been tested and can be given at the medical counter in the supermarket. But Adam still asked Rachel to bring little Emma to the medical center, and Adam helped her get the vaccine himself. Even mature vaccines have adverse reactions. In a large hospital like the medical center with complete equipment and famous doctors available for rescue at any time, once there is an adverse reaction, rescue can be carried out in the first time to eliminate the insignificant risk. Leonard saw that Adam really treated Rachel and Emma as family members. He had considered everything before he said anything. That was really comforting. Whenever he thought about it, he was thankful for his original choice countless times. While chatting, Ross and his friends also came over after get off work to visit Monica. After everyone left and chatted for a while, Ross and his friends dispersed, and Chandler stayed to accompany her. This is the VIP ward that Adam specially prepared for them. The conditions are no worse than at home. Chandler, Adam reminded after everyone left, we are not Rachel. Let little Adam stay in Monica's belly for a while. He can come out whenever he wants. There is no rush. When you accompany her at night, don't shout 777, okay? Monica, Chandler. Chapter 818 Penny's Pride, Bernie's Sorrow. Medical Center. Obstetrics and Gynecology VIP Ward. Adam's instructions left Monica and Chandler speechless. Adam smiled and said nothing to the offended looks on their faces. There was nothing he could do. 666 was no longer enough to describe Monica. Only 777 was Monica's natal triple number. Once Monica shouted 777, the others could only look up and shout 666. Let me go. I can do whatever I want. Just then, a scream came from the corridor outside the room, accompanied by the helpless persuasion of the nurse. Chandler, stay here and accompany Monica. Adam gave a warning and walked out. I'll go out and take a look. Okay. Chandler nodded in agreement. Is it another pregnant woman? Monica asked with concern. Don't gossip. Adam smiled and said, no matter what the situation is, we doctors will handle it. Don't worry about it. As he said that, he walked out and closed the door. What's going on? Adam went up to him. This is a pregnant woman sent from the emergency room. She was drinking at the bar. The bartender started to worry when she drank her 6th double bourbon. Later, she fainted. She was struggling to leave the emergency room just now, but her water broke suddenly, so she was sent to the obstetrics and gynecology department. The nurse introduced hurriedly. She looks full term. Adam took a look and asked, which doctor is in the obstetrics and gynecology department? Dr. Luna is here. We have called her. The nurse replied. Yes. Adam followed them and sent the pregnant woman to the delivery room. Let me go. I want to go. I want another drink. The alcoholic pregnant woman screamed, and several nurses held her down, which was enough to make her choke. Now with Adam's help, she was finally stabilized. Damn it. Seeing that she couldn't break free, the alcoholic pregnant woman started to cry and scream, and stretched out her hand to hit her stomach. You damn bastard. Look at what you have ruined my life. I want to drink. Ma'am, don't move. Adam naturally grabbed her hand and stopped her from hitting him, and reminded her, You will hurt the baby in your belly. Come on, kill it. The alcoholic pregnant woman screamed. I never thought of wanting it. I never thought of wanting this little bastard. I'm going to die, and I'm going to die with it. Notify the social service department. Adam frowned and ordered. This little bastard not only shouted that she wanted to kill her own child, but also made corresponding dangerous actions. If the child was not still in her belly, Adam would really doubt whether this was her biological mother. Yes, Dr. Duncan. A nurse responded and left. Adam helped to send the alcoholic pregnant woman to the delivery room, and Dr. Luna from the obstetrics and gynecology department also hurried over. Dr. Luna was overjoyed to see Adam was there, and asked Adam to stay and help. It was a long time. At first, this alcoholic pregnant woman was unwilling to give birth, as if she wanted to suffocate the baby in her belly. Later, after Adam and his team persuaded her with both soft and hard methods, she finally agreed to give birth. But of course it was not a natural birth, but a direct cesarean section. Poor child. In the operating room, after the fetus was taken out by cesarean section, Adam and Dr. Luna shook their heads and sighed at the appearance of the fetus. Typical fetal alcohol syndrome. Pregnant women who drink alcohol during pregnancy cause permanent birth defects to the fetus. Alcohol enters the placenta, hinders the growth of the fetus, causes unique facial spots, destroys neurons and brain structures, and causes a series of serious problems such as physical fitness, mental or behavioral problems. In The Big Bang Theory, Bernadette once complained about this, saying that she felt that her mother drank too much when she was pregnant with her, which caused her to be so short and became a permanent legal lily. As a microbiologist, there is naturally a medical basis for saying this. Fetal alcohol syndrome may indeed affect the height of the fetus. On the contrary, Penny, who said her mother was also an alcoholic, didn't take it seriously and said she was not affected. While talking, she was about to drink another bottle of wine, not realizing that she was more likely to be affected than Bernadette. She also proudly said that her drinking capacity was inherited from the best one. Well, it wasn't her mother, but her father. Penny's family of alcoholics. Penny and Bernadette did not have abnormal facial features, but Bernadette's growth defects should be serious. Fortunately, this only manifested in height, otherwise it would be terrible if there were growth defects in the heart, kidneys, eyes, etc. Permanent damage to the central nervous system. Penny's poor academic performance may not be a congenital defect in this area. If Penny's mother didn't drink, Penny might not be a blonde monkey, but a super genius. Serious face. The newborn baby in front of him, just by looking at his face, knew that he had fetal alcohol syndrome. Adam compared the average indicators of other babies and found that this poor child was quite different in all aspects. It was all thanks to his alcoholic mother, who drank 6 double bourbons in a row when she was about to give birth, drank until she fainted, and drank again when she woke up. This baby is likely to be a combination of various fetal alcohol syndromes, including facial features, growth defects, and central nervous system problems. After leaving the operating room, how is the alcoholic pregnant woman? Chief Resident Kelly came over. The operation was successful, but the result was not ideal. Adam explained the situation. I just received a call from the local prosecutor's office. Chief Resident Kelly looked at Adam. They want to sue her for attempted murder. The social workers are really quick in this regard. Adam was surprised. No. They took action after receiving a call from us, Chief Resident Kelly said in a deep voice. Gray. Adam was startled. Then he understood. He said to Lexi, who had just come out and performed the operation with him, "Did you call the police?" "Yes." Lexi nodded. She said she was going to kill her child. "I am a witness. We have many women with alcoholism and drug problems here. We let social workers deal with them." Chief Resident Kelly looked at Lexi. "This will lead to neglect," Lexi retorted. "The child has severe fetal alcohol syndrome. It's abominable." In the United States, this phenomenon is very common. 0.2 to 2 out of every 1,000 newborns will suffer from fetal alcohol syndrome, as high as 2 in 10,000 to 2 in 1,000. If you want to take care of it, can you manage it? Chief Resident Kelly said, "It is not your job to promote criminal investigations. If we scare these pregnant women away, It will not be good for prenatal care of high-risk fetuses. Do you understand? Lexi glanced at Adam. Listen to Dr. Tullis. Adam looked at her and reminded her. This is the chief resident talking to you. Yes. Lexi bowed her head. We all hate this alcoholic new mother. Chief Resident Kelly saw Lexi give in and softened her tone a little. But we are doctors. We only do the medical part we are responsible for, and don't interfere with other things that are not our business. Otherwise it will only cause trouble for the hospital and yourself. Lexi nodded silently. Kelly looked at her, then looked at Adam, turned and left. Dr. Duncan, aren't you going to scold me? Lexi saw that Adam left without saying a word after Kelly left, and followed him worriedly. Dr. Tullis, I have already scolded him, Adam said expressionlessly. What else do you want me to scold you for? Scold you for being too kind? Or scold you for being too stupid? Even if you have good intentions, you shouldn't use the hospital phone to call the police during working hours. If you have this time, you should think more before doing anything. After that, he turned and left. Yes. Lexi was stunned at first, then shouted at Adam's back. I've got it. I will pay attention to the method next time. P.S. Thanks to Chaos Little Book Fan for the reward. Chapter 819 Monica gives birth to Adam. After all this, late at night, Adam finally had time to go to Monica's VIP delivery room. Before he even walked in, a nurse came over quietly and said, "They just took a break." Just taking a break, right? Adam nodded first, then couldn't help asking another question. The little nurse kept laughing. Adam couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. He forgot that Monica was not Rachel, not to that extent. Please pay more attention to her at night. Adam smiled. Don't worry, Dr. Duncan. The little nurse patted her chest and said, "This is your good friend, and the baby in her belly is Adam. We have arranged shifts and ensure that someone is watching her at all times." Thank you. Adam thanked her. Thank you all for me. When little Adam is born, I will invite everyone to celebrate. Great. I will definitely pass on the message. The little nurse was immediately excited. She knew that Adam's treats were always good food and fun. Last time when Dr. Green's granddaughter was born, Adam directly let the old friend bar open for several nights for free afterwards, ensuring that all medical staff could go there to have fun after their shifts. The obstetrics and gynecology medical staff and those who helped out also received expensive commemorative gifts. How could the nurses not like this kind of person who is so charming and willing to make a fortune? If Adam had not repeatedly rejected their enthusiasm, they would have started a fan club openly. This is in stark contrast to the anti-Mark Sloan Nurses Alliance caused by Mark Sloan. Even so, there is no fan organization on the surface, but secretly, some fanatics secretly formed a loose alliance. Adam has actually heard of it. But as long as there is no formal fan group on the surface, it's fine. After all, he makes a living by his skills. This kind of fan circle does more harm than good to him. Once Adam acquiesces to the establishment of a formal fan group, it can indeed greatly narrow the distance between him and the nurses, making them closer and more supportive of his work. But being too close will inevitably lead to the destruction of perfection and unexpected gaps. If Adam does not support them at that time, there will be a risk of backlash, because the interests of nurses are often naturally opposed to those of doctors and management. The last strike of all nurses is a vivid example. Adam can't do anything about this kind of structural inherent conflict of interests. In this case, it is better to keep a distance from the beginning. At 2:30 in the morning, Adam had just rested when his pager rang. Looking at Monica's ward number displayed on it, Adam immediately got up and rushed over. "Dr. Duncan, the amniotic fluid broke," the nurse reminded Adam as soon as she saw him. "Dr. Luna, how is it?" Adam nodded to the nurse, pushed the door in, and saw that Dr. Luna from the obstetrics and gynecology department was already there, and asked hurriedly, "The cervix is 6 centimeters dilated, and it should be possible to give birth soon," Dr. Luna said after the examination. "Notify Dr. Montgomery," Adam said to the nurse, then smiled apologetically to Dr. Luna. "Be prepared." "Understand." Dr. Luna smiled. "I would do the same if it were me." "Monica, don't be nervous." Adam then stepped forward and comforted, "And you, Chandler, take a deep breath. You have learned all the childbirth classes I signed up for, and I'm here, Don't be nervous. Huh. Chandler took a deep breath and complained, "It's because of the class that I'm more nervous." "You're useless," Monica cursed whining during the pain. "I thought we had already made it clear," Chandler shouted self-deprecatingly. Everyone was speechless. Adam didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chandler's expression of "it's normal for me to be useless" was quite similar to the future Sheldon's expression of "it's natural for me to be cowardly" after Amy complained about him using Amy as a human shield. "Okay," Adam instructed, "at this rate, the baby will be born in a few hours. Chandler, go and notify Ross and the others." "Okay." Chandler agreed immediately and picked up the phone to call for help. In the tradition of American TV series, good friends will naturally accompany each other throughout the process and witness the most important moment in each other's lives. When a group of friends arrived one after another, Monica had already started. Dr. Montgomery presided over the operation, and Dr. Looney helped. Adam and Chandler stood on Monica's left and right, each holding one of Monica's hands to accompany and encourage her, and Adam was ready to help at any time. Ross and the others were waiting outside the delivery room. Unlike Rachel, who waited for more than a day and almost had a difficult delivery, Monica was much more resilient this time, although she also exerted her heart and lungs, and gave birth to little Adam smoothly not long after. Dr. Montgomery wrapped the newborn little Adam and handed it to Chandler, who was standing there stupidly. "This is my son." Chandler held little Adam and looked at him blankly. Adam had already walked to Chandler from the other side, ready to take his godson at any time. There was no other way. It was Chandler's fault for not being able to hold things steady. Adam didn't want to see Monica, who had just given birth, jump up from the delivery bed and chase Chandler. "Chandler, hold me." Monica finally caught her breath, sweating but with a happy face. "Our son, here." Chandler looked at Monica affectionately and handed over the little Adam in his hand. What was supposed to come finally came, most likely because he was too nervous just now. His feet suddenly softened and the baby in his hand flew directly over. No. At that moment, the whole delivery room was in bullet time. Monica's eyes instantly widened to the maximum, and she screamed. Chandler's eyes were full of fear. At this moment, Adam's figure appeared between Monica and Chandler like a teleport, and steadily caught the little Adam flying in the air. Son of the bitch. Bullet time passed. Monica saw Adam catch her son. First she breathed a sigh of relief, then she yelled at her husband Chandler, pointing her finger at Chandler, "If you hurt my son, I will kill you." "Not really." Adam looked at the little Adam in his arms and persuaded him, "With me as the godfather, you can't hurt little Adam. Besides, Chandler didn't mean to do it. My dad often accidentally dropped us when we were little." "Don't be so excited." "That's you," Monica yelled madly. "I don't care, but my son, no one is allowed to drop him." "Chandler, you are out of the game. You are not allowed to hold my son without my permission in the future." Chandler wanted to cry but had no tears. He stretched out his hand and slapped his thigh. While slapping hard, he complained, "It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault." He didn't blame Monica for such a big reaction, because he also hated his mistake just now. "In the past, I couldn't catch the ball or anything else, but I just laughed it off. But now, I can't even hold my own baby son. It's so hateful." Chapter 820, The Donkey of the Bin Family Production Team, Medical Center, VIP Delivery Room. As soon as little Adam was born, he suffered the same fate as Adam's previous incarnation. If Adam hadn't been there, it might have been another silly and cute incarnation that was thrown down. At that time, Adam would have to observe carefully whether this godson was a time traveler. But even if he was not a time traveler, he was the strongest result of the butterfly effect after Adam's time travel. In the original Time and Space, Chandler and Monica did not have this blood-related son. Adam Jack Bin, the name of little Adam, is well deserved. Don't be excited, look at your son. Seeing that, Monica instantly entered the cub protection mode, as if she didn't even want her husband. Adam quickly handed over the little Adam in his arms, who couldn't tell whether he was a time traveler or not. Oh, Monica took it with both hands, hugged it in her arms, looked down, and her anger instantly dissipated. With a face full of love, "Let Ross and the others come in." Adam pushed Chandler, who was complaining about himself. Chandler nodded with a wry smile and walked out. With a burst of cheers, the door was pushed open and a group of friends filed in. "Let's see little Adam," Joey shouted. "Yeah, I've wanted to say this for a long time." Phoebe shook her head and looked at Adam proudly. "Now it's finally come true." Adam's mouth twitched. He knew it. What is coming will eventually come. This joke is universal. His fame. Adam couldn't help but look at Phoebe's Ant-Man fiancé Mike. "You don't care?" "What do you care about?" Ant-Man Mike shrugged and smiled. "I like Phoebe like this, and like her, I also want to see little Adam. Ha ha ha." In the VIP delivery room, there was a cheerful atmosphere. Stupid Western naming method. Adam could only curse secretly and become the source of everyone's joy. "Wow, little Adam is so cute." When it was Phoebe's turn to hold him, she looked down for a while, and suddenly looked up at her fiancé. "Shall we have a baby then?" "Sure." Ant-Man Mike agreed with a smile. Originally, he was not interested in marriage and family, but Phoebe, who had always been non-mainstream, suddenly wanted to become a traditional woman and live a traditional female life. He who loved her also naturally changed his mindset. Of course, there was also the follow-up impact of the Golden Light nursing home incident, and Mike's parents reminded him again and again, he must continue the bloodline, otherwise he would really have a second child. It's Uncle Joey's turn. Joey clapped his hands and wanted to hug little Adam. After a struggle, he took it from Phoebe, looked down for a while, and suddenly put on the classic Joe-style crying face. "Woo, so touching. I want to marry Noah, and I want to be a father too." "Don't be excited," Adam complained. "You are already the father of 3 children, and you don't know how many more you have. You are always so excited. Can you handle the excitement? I suggest that you check how many children you have when you have a chance, and then register them to avoid ethical tragedies in the future." Joey was so moved that he froze there. "Adam, Noah is okay." Monica was in extreme happiness at this time, and she couldn't help but speak for Joey when she saw this. "She will give birth in 4 weeks, and I think the daughter in her belly should have a father." "Why are you all looking at me?" Seeing everyone looking at him, Adam said speechlessly, "This is Joey's business, not mine." "I hope to get your blessing," Joey said pitifully. "I wish you the best." Adam teased, "May happiness knock on your door." Joey's Noah has a twin uterus and is pregnant with a pair of panda brothers and sisters. Adam used to disapprove of Joey marrying this woman, but this is Joey's business after all, and he won't get involved too much. He has said what he should say and reminded what he should remind. As a friend, he has done his best. If he talks too much, Joey might blame him in the future. After all, the daughter in Noah's belly is Joey's biological daughter. Besides, this is the world of American TV series. You can't expect all your good friends to be as happy as Matthew and Lily, Chandler and Monica, and be a couple for life, right? Don't be funny. When the feeling comes, they promise each other lifetime. When the feeling is gone, they cheat on each other once. This is the normal state of love and marriage in the world of American TV series. Everyone hugged each other and looked at it. Little Adam was held in Monica's arms again. "Chandler, stand over here. I'll take a picture of you and your family of 3. Adam reminded him with a camera in hand. "Come here." Monica saw Chandler was embarrassed, so she rolled her eyes at him and waved her hand. "As long as it doesn't affect her son, her husband is still her husband." Chandler came over and sat sideways on the bed, hugging Monica who was holding her son, and the family of 3 showed their brightest smiles to the camera. Click, click. "Today is perfect." Adam took one picture after another of this hard-won family of 3, and couldn't help but sigh. "Yes, it's perfect." Monica looked up at Chandler, then looked down at the little Adam in her arms, leaned her head on Chandler's chest, and murmured, "It's perfect." The happiness in Chandler's eyes was almost overflowing. The haze caused by the weird marriage of his weird parents when he was a child was completely dissipated at this moment, without a trace left. The surname Bing, which was not a source of pain that they did not want to pass on, became a source of happiness that they wanted to pass on forever. From then on, they were the happy Bing family. "Let's take a picture together." Monica began to greet everyone. "Dr. Duncan, I'll take the picture for you." The little nurse who was watching the excitement said enthusiastically, "Thank you very much, Ruth." Adam handed the camera to the little nurse, and at Monica's call, he walked to the other side and sat on the bed sideways like Chandler, stretched out his hand to hold Chandler, and put Monica and little Adam in the middle. Rachel stood beside Chandler, leaned her head in front of little Adam, and looked sideways at the camera. Phoebe did the same thing on the other side. Ross stood beside Chandler and tilted his head towards Chandler. Ant-Man Mike stood beside Adam and smiled reservedly. Joey trotted to the head of the bed, climbed onto the bed, and lay on his back on Monica's legs, with little Adam on his head. Amid the complaints of Rachel and Phoebe, he bared his teeth and claws at the camera to grab the camera. Click, click, click. One by one, the happy photos were permanently frozen in time with the sound of clicks. Then there were individual photos of everyone with little Adam, and with Chandler's family of 3. What is happiness? This is it. Soon Monica's parents arrived, and Monica's mother, who had always been harsh on Monica, couldn't help but say, "I didn't expect this day to come." "What do you mean?" Monica glanced to the side and smiled with repressed displeasure. "It doesn't mean anything." Monica's mother covered up as usual. "I meant congratulations." "No, you didn't mean that." Monica's outstretched finger trembled. "You just discriminate against me and think I'm not as good as Ross." "No." Monica's mother didn't look at Monica, and muttered, "Ross has a son and a daughter." After everyone's mediation, Monica didn't touch the knife again. When Monica's parents left, Monica shouted, "All of you go out. Chandler, take off your pants." What? Everyone was confused, and Chandler was even more confused. "The quarterback of the Penn team has been found. It's time to add new players," Monica said angrily. "Our Penn team must beat Ross's Geller team." "No, no." Adam and others hurriedly held down Monica, who was about to lift the quilt and get up to help the confused Chandler take off his clothes. "Don't be like this, we're not in a hurry." It took a lot of effort to persuade Monica to stop. Adam didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and looked at Chandler with sympathy. Given the difficulty of Monica's pregnancy, Chandler would have to work harder than the donkeys in the production team to get a team together. Chapter 821. Adam. Morning, Medical Center. Adam took little Adam to wash himself under Monica's repeated instructions to prevent him from getting hurt or being taken away by the wrong person. Beep, beep. While washing, the pager on Adam's waist rang. "Kara, please take little Adam to his mother later." Adam took out the pager and stood up. He first said something to the nurse Kara, and then smiled at Chandler. "Chandler, just watch from the side." Chandler smiled helplessly. "Don't worry, you'll have a chance to hold him later," Adam said teasingly and left. "What's the situation?" Adam rushed to the emergency room. "It's Dr. Bailey's son," George said anxiously. Little George. Bailey's son was named after George by mistake, so he was particularly concerned. "Please ask Dr. Montgomery, Dr. Shept, Dr. Burke, and the director to come for consultation." Adam gave a warning and ran over to check George. "The limbs are responsive, the pupils are responsive and dilated, and there is no nerve damage. There are bruises and swelling on the left forearm. Arrange an X-ray." "Tucker, how did George get injured?" He crawled to the study and tried to grab a medical book, and then the bookshelf fell and he was crushed underneath. "I heard him screaming, and then I realized," Dr. Bailey's husband Tucker said with his mouth covered. "His left breathing is weakened and his abdomen is stiff. Prepare the cord and ultrasound equipment. He needs a complete wound examination." When Adam checked the abdomen, his face froze. "What does this mean?" Tucker said in horror. "He may have internal trauma," Adam said, and pushed the trolley to the ward. George O'Malley had already run over to prepare according to Adam's instructions. "What happened?" Dr. Bailey hurried over, and when he saw his son lying there, crying loudly, he was stunned. "He was knocked down by the bookshelf," Tucker explained. "The bookshelf is in the study, and there is a baby fence in the living room." "How could he climb there?" Dr. Bailey said angrily. "The fence door was open." Tucker was also angry. "Did you forget to close the door?" Dr. Bailey glared at her husband. "No, not me." Tucker glared back. "Are you trying to say I didn't close the door?" Dr. Bailey panted. "Accidents always happen." At this time, the chief of surgery got the news and rushed to the scene with a group of famous doctors, stopping the quarrel between Dr. Bailey and his wife, and surrounded little George. "Adam, What's the situation now? Multiple rib fractures, possible lung injury, and possible heart damage. Adam briefly summarized. A comprehensive trauma examination is needed immediately. Ah, Dr. Bailey covered her mouth with her hand when she heard it. She was always strong, but tears flowed down her face. Because he was Dr. Bailey's child, he jumped the queue and went directly to the courtroom. Dr. Bailey and her husband stayed with their son inside. Adam, the chief surgeon, and Dr. Montgomery were looking at the scan results. Alas, all the famous doctors sighed. "There's a shadow," George said in pain. "Where's the heart?" Lexi asked in confusion. "I can't see it." The little man calmly read the film. "His stomach is in the chest cavity, his internal organs are perforated, and the color marker is positive, which means that the diaphragm is displaced, and the rupture of the diaphragm is not his main problem. The pressure of the wound has damaged his chest artery. There is fluid around the colon, which means that the colon is also ruptured. The feces in the intestines flowing everywhere will infect the artery repair, and the complications are fatal." "Chief," Adam looked at the chief surgeon. "Book the operating room immediately." The chief surgeon sighed. "Burke will be the main surgeon. Duncan will be the assistant. Addison, you and I will observe and be ready to help at any time. Melendez, go and book the operating room." Adam ordered. "O'Malley, Gray, you two accompany Dr. Bailey. She is not very calm now. You must make sure her emotions will not affect the surgical treatment." "Yes." The little man and the others moved one after another. "Carter, go to the outpatient clinic and help Dr. Bailey for a day." Adam looked at Carter. "Yes." Carter answered and left. The operation began at the fastest speed. Outside the operating room, Dr. Bailey, who got the news, also changed into surgical clothes and looked outside anxiously. George and Lexi stopped her from going in. "They are repairing the hole in the diaphragm." The little man stood at the door and reported the situation inside to Dr. Bailey outside in real time. "They are preparing to check the longitudinal membrane." "Is Burke going to suture or skin graft?" Dr. Bailey asked anxiously. "He hasn't said yet." The little man said, "I'll ask for you." He was about to go inside. Seeing this, Dr. Bailey took a mask and rushed in directly. "Miranda, get out," the chief of surgery shouted. "I just want to be with my son," Dr. Bailey pleaded. "I don't want to get in your way, but I can't just stand outside and wait. I can't do that. I need to be with my son." "Dr. Bailey, the hospital rules do not allow the patient's mother to watch us perform surgery," Dr. Burke reminded. "O'Malley, Little Gray, accompany Dr. Bailey out." "No," Dr. Bailey shouted fiercely. "I'm not going anywhere. I want to be with my son." "You continue, Director." "Dr. Burke, let Dr. Bailey stay." Adam said, "I'll be the lead surgeon. Don't worry about distraction." "Miranda, do you agree?" Dr. Burke looked at Dr. Bailey. "Well, I just want to hold my son's hand." Dr. Bailey naturally would not doubt Adam's ability. "Okay, Adam, you take over." Dr. Burke saw this and had no objection. If it were someone else, he would definitely not be willing to do so. He would just drive Dr. Bailey away and perform the surgery himself. But this person was Adam, and he had no objection. He knew that Adam didn't want to steal his surgical performance in public, but it was really just because Adam could do multiple things at the same time, and didn't have to be distracted by Dr. Bailey's interruption during the next operation, which would cause unnecessary medical accidents. So, Adam and Dr. Burke exchanged positions, and under Dr. Bailey's expectant and scrutinizing eyes, he began the operation naturally. The operation was in progress. Dr. Bailey really couldn't do what she said, just wanting to hold her son's hand. When faced with a choice, she still couldn't help but speak. After all, this is her son. However, while Adam was talking to Dr. Bailey, explaining her doubts and refuting her slightly impulsive choices, she performed the operation on her son steadily. "Okay, the stomach has been repaired, and there is no rupture in the spleen. Now we just need to insert the chest tube and it will be done." Adam smiled and said, "Dr. Bailey, do you have any other questions?" "Thank you, thank you." Dr. Bailey watched the whole process, and didn't have to wait anxiously and helplessly for the decision of fate outside. She could hold her son's hand, accompany her son, and give her son and herself strength. Naturally, She was grateful to Adam for making all this happen. Chapter 822. The Chakra Palm Immortal Art Medical Center suddenly appeared. Pediatric Intensive Care Unit. Although the operation was successful, the situation is still not optimistic. Whether Dr. Bailey's son, George, can be safe and sound and recover as before depends on whether he can reject intubation and breathe on his own. Adam accompanied Dr. Bailey for a while and prepared to leave. It goes without saying that Dr. Bailey will be the only caregiver tonight. Meredith, what are you doing? Just then, Meredith walked in with a female patient. This is Elizabeth Archer. I think you should all know her. In addition to being a patient of Dr. Burke, she is also a faith healer. Meredith glanced at Adam and Dr. Bailey, blinked her confused eyes, and said sincerely, "Don't rush to criticize. Let her help George heal with faith. Maybe a miracle will happen." Looking at Christina, who was following behind and watching the fun, Adam was speechless. Of course he knew this Elizabeth Archer in front of him. Although she just came last night, her name has spread throughout the medical center. It even caused some confusion in the medical center, because she is a faith healer. Although she herself has the risk of a ruptured main coronary artery at any time and needs a coronary artery cut-down surgery, but she likes to run around the hospital at the risk of cardiac arrest at any time, using her faith to treat patients in mysterious ways. "Miss Archer, please." Dr. Bailey stood up and looked at Elizabeth Archer, a female patient sitting in a wheelchair, with the same eyes that a patient's family member would look at her. Alas, Adam sighed in his heart. Poor parents in the world. Dr. Bailey does believe in God, but at work, she only believes in medical science. But this time, when her son was in trouble and it was hard to tell whether he would be good or bad, she had no choice but to put aside medical science and put her hope on a faith healer whom she had previously disregarded. "Of course, no problem." Elizabeth Archer first nodded to Dr. Bailey, then looked at Adam. "You don't believe me? It doesn't matter whether I believe you or not." Adam thought to himself that he had such a keen observation, and smiled slightly. "The important thing is that Dr. Bailey believes in you, and little George will be in your hands. You are very open-minded." Elizabeth smiled. "This is rare, and I appreciate it." "Thank you." Adam smiled. "I sincerely hope that you can give little George the treatment you give to other patients." "I think so." Elizabeth nodded and said, "Everyone has chakra energy. What we have to do is to follow the trajectory of chakra energy and balance the chakra energy of the human body." "Chakra energy?" Adam grinned. "Is this what you believe in?" "Yeah. You know chakra too?" Elizabeth was really surprised this time. Chakra is the perfect fusion of spiritual energy and physical energy. Few people know such a magical power. "So the faith healing technique you used on Mr. Greenwood before was actually the palm fairy technique?" Adam said seriously. "Yes." Elizabeth looked at Adam with burning eyes. "Dr. Duncan, you actually know the palm magic? Are you also a believer?" "No." Adam shook his head and forced himself to remain silent. "I have only heard that the palm magic is to release one's own chakra to interfere with the circulation of chakra energy in the patient's body, so as to achieve a legendary method of rapid healing of internal and external injuries." "Dr. Duncan is really knowledgeable." Elizabeth shook her head and said, "It's a pity that you are not a believer, otherwise you will definitely be a powerful faith healer who can bring more light to this world." Adam remained silent. He couldn't speak anymore. Otherwise he would never be able to hold back his laughter. Before, he was not sure whether the chakra Elizabeth mentioned was the chakra of the Three Kingdoms or the chakra of the island country, but now he is sure. "Are you kidding? Do you think he has never seen Naruto?" "Chakra palm magic. Do you think that if you put your hands in front of the patient, special effects will appear?" It is only 1999 now, and Naruto has just been published in the island country. Few people know about chakra and palm magic, but this is not the reason why you borrowed it so blatantly, right? "Believe it or not," he directly said the dragon fate reincarnation, which made Elizabeth dumbfounded. At this time, this big move of the medical ninja has not appeared yet. But it's also a ghost. This Elizabeth used the so-called palm fairy technique. Although there was no special effect light, several patients really got better, especially Mr. Greenwood. He was struggling with atrial fibrillation all day long, and the ward was always on a blue alarm. But Elizabeth went over, put one hand on Mr. Greenwood's forehead and the other hand on Mr. Greenwood's heart, and use the palm fairy technique. It was really amazing that she restored the other person's normal heartbeats without resuscitation. At that time, Mr. Greenwood looked at Elizabeth as if he was looking at God. This is also the most important reason why Dr. Bailey is superstitious. Even if this so-called chakra palm fairy technique does not work, Elizabeth's European emperor physique is of vital benefit to her son. That's right. Whether it is Adam or Dr. Bailey, they still don't believe this deep in their hearts. They would rather regard this miracle as luck at the level of a European emperor. And this kind of luck at the level of a European emperor is exactly what little George, who is recovering from Schrödinger's disease, needs the most. Through this kind of luck at the level of a European emperor, the probability cloud can be affected, and Schrödinger's recovery can be raised from 50% to 100%. All that is needed is to trust the other party on the surface and let the other party perform the harmless palm fairy technique. Why not do it? I need to know the details of the operation so that I can better treat him with my fantasy. Elizabeth looked at Adam. Okay. Adam glanced at Dr. Bailey and began to tell Elizabeth about the whole process of the operation in detail. Yeah. After listening, Elizabeth struggled to get up. Adam quickly reached out to support her. Thank you. Elizabeth thanked him, and with the help of Adam and Meredith, she walked to the bedside and leaned over to look at the intubated little George. I want you to hold her hand. Elizabeth took Dr. Bailey's hand, and then took the hand of Dr. Bailey's husband Tucker, who was sitting there without saying a word. Why? Tucker was a little resistant. His mind is now full of his son's injury, and all this is because his wife works day and night and never comes home. When she occasionally comes home, she spends most of her time in the study and forgets to close the door of her son's fence. As a result, his son misses his mother and runs to the study to learn from his mother to get medical books, and then he is knocked down by the bookshelf. He has had enough. He wants a divorce, because the energy here is not enough for him to heal himself. Elizabeth said sincerely, so I want you to hold each other's hands and devote your wholehearted love. In these few minutes, I want you to try to forgive each other. As a mother, Dr. Bailey stretched out her hand first. Can you do it? Elizabeth looked at Tucker again. Tucker could only stretch out his hand and hold his wife's hand. Very good. We are going to start. Remember, your wholehearted love will affect the child's self-healing ability. Please do your best, Elizabeth said, stretching out her hands to the sleeping little George and performing the palm magic. Anyone who believes in God closed his eyes at this moment, although chakra is heresy to God. But no one cares. Dr. Bailey and his wife, Meredith, and even Christina, who always took things for granted, closed their eyes. Because she truly respected Dr. Bailey and was willing to temporarily put aside her prejudice and indifference for Dr. Bailey's son and pray for little George. Adam watched this scene and was about to close his eyes to pray for little George, but suddenly met Elizabeth's gaze. Elizabeth smiled, as if saying, I know you want to laugh at me, but what bad intentions can I have? What harm can this do? Adam smiled slightly and closed his eyes. He felt that Elizabeth, a believer, was much cuter than other charlatans. P.S. Thanks to Zkankian for the reward. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 823, The European Emperor Encounters the Poison Milk Medical Center. What is comfort therapy? What is the European Emperor physique? Adam finally saw it. Half an hour after the palm fairy technique was performed, Dr. Bailey's son George suddenly sobbed. But except for his father Tucker, everyone else was not surprised but happy, because this was George's reaction to recovering his own breathing and rejecting the intubation. And this also means that Schrödinger's recovery is completely 100%. Ms. A. When Adam heard the news from the pediatric intensive care unit, he looked at Elizabeth, who was smiling. Call me Elizabeth. Elizabeth smiled. Okay. Adam nodded. I hope you can do me a favor after the operation. I am studying viruses to eliminate cancer. That's right. Adam was moved. This European emperor physique is simply too strong, and scientific research sometimes requires this kind of mysterious inspiration and luck. Some people spend their whole lives studying, but it's better for others to be naughty under the apple tree, and then be hit on the head by an apple, and instantly burst into inspiration. Sheldon's future Nobel Prize in Physics is also full of such mysteries. On the wedding day, he suddenly had a burst of inspiration and almost gave up on getting married. You can say that this is the screenwriter's trick, but it is also very consistent with the reality. Many times, scientists of the same level compete on who is luckier. Now for Adam, who is doing groundbreaking clinical research, how can he not masturbate to a European emperor? Maybe with her help, Adam can find the answer in an infinite number of possibilities. Anyway, it's just a casual remark. It's a waste if you don't do it. This is a good thing. Of course I am willing to help. Elizabeth smiled and said, in fact, I used to be a doctor. Really? Adam was surprised and said, can you tell me about it? There's nothing to say. Elizabeth shook her head and said, I was a pediatrician before, but later I found that medicine was of limited help to humans. I saw too many lives passing away in front of my eyes. Later, I came into contact with the field of faith healing, and since then I have become a faith healer. So that's it. Adam nodded. The end of science is theology. Many scientific giants, such as Newton and Einstein, believed in theology in their later years, because with the current level of scientific development, theology cannot be completely falsified, and there are too many things in the universe that humans cannot explain. Take archaeologist Ross for example. He has always believed in Darwin's theory of biological evolution. When Phoebe expressed disbelief, he would be furious and had to use evidence to convince Phoebe to believe. Unfortunately, Phoebe's few words broke his faith, and he was so depressed that he dared not confront Phoebe again. Science is constantly developing. The geocentric theory and heliocentric theory that were once considered scientific were later proved to be wrong. Elizabeth, a former pediatrician, faced countless deaths. One day, perhaps she was broken down like Ross faced Phoebe. But unlike Ross's average figure, it doesn't matter if the defense is broken, and he will still live his life. After being broken down, pediatrician Elizabeth completely gave up the career she had been struggling for many years. I know a lot of people think that faith healers are scammers. Elizabeth smiled and said, for most people, that's true. But I'm not. I won't delay the patient's medical treatment, nor will I defraud the patient of any money. I just want to use my faith fantasy to provide patients with more non-invasive self-healing options and enhance the patient's will to live. After all, we all know that once the operation is performed, no matter what the situation is, the person will be seriously injured. And the patient's will to live, in many cases, can really determine whether a patient lives or dies. Unfortunately, there are too few true faith healers like you. Adam smiled. It's because there are too few, that I am needed. Elizabeth smiled happily. Isn't it? You guys are having a great time chatting. Christina walked in. Dr. Burke asked me to prepare for Miss Aker before the operation. Please tell me the operation process in detail and give me some time. Elizabeth pleaded. Of course, no problem. Adam continued. Let me explain it to you. Then he said to Christina, who was dissatisfied, I'll let you be the lead surgeon for a heart surgery. That's a deal. Christina's words immediately changed. Yeah. Adam smiled and said, I'll help Dr. Burke in Elizabeth's surgery. I really miss it. Elizabeth looked at the interaction between Christina and Adam, and smiled. I was just like you back then, rushing to do the surgery. You're a doctor? Christina's eyes widened immediately when she heard it, and when she saw Elizabeth nod, she blurted out, why? Elizabeth and Adam both knew what she meant. Why would a doctor with a promising future become a liar? This was unimaginable to Christina, who was extremely devout in medicine. Okay, Adam interrupted. Time is precious. Go and book the operating room first, and if you have any questions, we'll talk after the surgery. Christina glanced at Adam and turned away. In any case, she booked a heart surgery with Adam, and she was the lead surgeon. So happy. As for the question just now, she had the same idea as Sheldon. Even if she had been gifted, if she could not maintain her heart, no matter what the reason was, she would be a weak person and not worth mentioning. Hey, Adam, Why are you here too? Dr. Burke was surprised to see Adam, because this was not a rare operation. Adam had been the main surgeon more than once or twice, so why did he need to be an assistant beside him? Dr. Burke, you should have heard about Elizabeth's deeds, right? Adam explained with a smile. I want to invite her to participate in my clinical research after the operation. I understand. Dr. Burke smiled immediately. There are too many miracles in the world that we cannot control. This is great. Let's work together to cure Miss Ake, and then let her continue to spread miracles. That's right. Dr. Burke is a true believer. In this American TV series world where faith is gradually lost, it is not surprising that he is a devout believer as an African American, because in the slave era, African Americans could not even become believers. That was the privilege of the masters. Later, with the development of the times, African Americans could also believe. As a result, the number of African American believers has exploded, so that now the number of African American believers has increased greatly among the devout believers. This can be considered as convert fanaticism. Dr. Burke was the lead surgeon, and Adam was the assistant. Although the operation was risky, it was supposed to be safe, but the fact is that the operation was not smooth, and various accidents occurred frequently, so that Adam and Dr. Burke failed together. Elizabeth Archer, the European emperor, died on the operating table. This is God calling her. Dr. Burke shook his head and said, people like her can't stay in the world for long. Now she has returned to heaven. Adam was speechless and couldn't help but glance at Christina beside him. He seriously suspected that Christina had a toxic milk physique, because before, when cleaning and disinfecting, Christina also teased, since you became a resident, it has been rare to see you and Burke perform surgery together. This Miss Archer is lucky. This operation is safe. The European emperor encountered toxic milk. The European emperor died. Chapter 824 Gray, thank you. Medical center. Late at night. Where's Mr. Tucker? Adam was disappointed that the European emperor did not survive the poisonous milk. He went to see Monica and little Adam, and then went to the pediatric intensive care unit to visit little George. He went back. Dr. Bailey lay beside the crib, looking at his baby son, glanced at Adam, and said lightly, this. Adam keenly noticed the problem here. He went back to pack his things and moved to the hotel tonight. Dr. Bailey confirmed Adam's guess. Is it irreparable? Adam sighed. Unexpectedly, with Elizabeth's death, the reconciliation situation she had painstakingly created collapsed in an instant. It has come to this. What can be saved? Dr. Bailey said woodenly. Is all this my fault? He was the one who took the initiative to suggest that he stay at home to take care of George, because my job is better and can provide a better material foundation for the family. I work hard. Is it just for me? We said it was fine at the beginning, but now it has not been a few months since I took care of him, and he is complaining about me not taking care of the family. Don't I want to take care of the family? I have tried my best. Doesn't he know that a woman, especially an African American, must work twice as hard to succeed in this society? Exclamation mark. At this point, Dr. Bailey turned his head away. His voice choked. Alas, Adam sighed. Every family has its own problems. It is not easy to judge as an outsider. I've figured it out, too. Dr. Bailey turned her head and wiped away her tears. When she looked up again, she was indifferent. I took the initiative to say this. Since we can't reach an agreement, I will never force it. I can bear the pressure of society and the workplace, and naturally I can bear the pressure of being a single mother. He is unwilling to share the family responsibilities with me. I can accept that, but I can't accept that he agreed on the surface, but kept complaining, and then threw all the responsibilities of not taking good care of his son to me. I will never accept it. Are you sure? Adam reminded. It's really not that easy to be a single mother. Think about Meredith. Dr. Bailey paused. Adam's analogy was really sharp. Meredith was brought up by a single mother, even though Dr. Bailey admired her. But Dr. Bailey couldn't accept the thought that her son would have the same personality as Meredith. All kinds of psychological problems. Too unhealthy. No. Dr. Bailey hesitated for a long time before gritting his teeth and said, I won't let George become another Meredith. Then think about it again, Adam reminded. A complete family is still very important for the growth of children. If possible, it is best not to easily cut off this integrity. Dr. Bailey looked at his son sleeping in the crib and said nothing. "Just call me if you need anything," Adam said, and left. The next day, early in the morning, dressing room. "Adam, what are the names of my 4 interns?" Christina asked. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adam laughed. "Haha." Meredith couldn't stop laughing. "Stop laughing," Christina cried helplessly. "Damn it, why did such a weird thing happen? If you don't have enough stress resistance, why do you want to be a doctor? You are harming others and yourself. Remember your attitude now." Adam laughed and teased. "When the hospital talks to you, please tell her." "Okay, Adam, stop teasing her." Meredith laughed. "She is so annoyed now." "She deserves to be annoyed," Adam complained. "I have told her many times that teaching must pay attention to methods and methods. You can be as strict as you want in teaching medical skills, but in daily interactions, you must give others enough respect. They are indeed interns following you, but they are just learning medical skills from you, not your slaves. You have no right to insult and belittle them." Now that she heard about such a serious teaching accident, she began to worry and remembered to ask the names of the 4 interns under her. "I didn't insult them," Christina defended. "As long as their level is recognized by me, I will naturally face them. What they need is to work harder." "This is not an excuse," Adam sneered. "Why don't you ask the young intern who just jumped off the tracks to commit suicide, whether he agrees with you or not?" Alas, Meredith, who had suicidal tendencies, sighed when she heard this. Last night, a sensational event occurred in the medical community in New York, and it had spread all over this morning. At Princeton Teaching Hospital, a young African-American intern suddenly jumped off the tracks to commit suicide last night. It was said that he was under too much pressure and had long-term depression, and then his mentor resident scolded him in public as usual yesterday, which made him unacceptable, so he chose to commit suicide. Needless to say, this will cause a strong storm in the teaching hospital, and make people re-examine the teaching system. And those mentor residents who were originally known for their harshness are very nervous, because in the future, each teaching hospital is expected to organize special personnel to conduct interns to evaluate mentor residents. In this storm, one bad thing may really affect the future. "I heard that this intern is actually very good," Meredith said. "His mentor resident is also very good." "Yes," Adam shook his head and said, "it's a pity that they are all African Americans." "Yeah," Meredith nodded. "Because he is African American, the mentor resident spent too much energy to prevent people from questioning his professional level. He did not allow his interns to get preferential treatment because of their African American identity, which would remind people of this thing he did not want to think about again. Therefore, he looked at the interns of the same African American race who were also very good with a different eye. He made them do the hardest and most tiring work, double or quadruple the workload. If they were not satisfied, he would scold them in public. This African American intern was indeed the best and silently withstood all the tests. But he was a human being after all, not like Adam. Interns are tired of working like cows and horses, not to mention that African American interns were doubled and doubled. Under this kind of work intensity, he could fall asleep while writing cases. The psychological pressure was so great that he needed to see a psychologist to relieve it. This struggle has actually won the recognition of the African American mentor. But the African American mentor is also a proud person, and he didn't show it at all. On the one hand, he gave high praise on the evaluation form, but on the other hand, he didn't give any positive feedback and scolded him at every turn. People always have their limits. This time, before the African American intern received the evaluation form from his mentor, he couldn't stand the African American mentor's scolding again in public. He didn't say anything last night, and when the subway train arrived, he jumped down without warning. He was hit to pieces and happened to be sent to their hospital. His mentor and his intern colleagues rescued him. When the African American mentor subconsciously scolded him for not coming in the first time and asked the nurse to call him, the pager call sounded on the unrecognizable patient in the emergency room. Everyone was stunned at the time. When he reacted, took out the pager on the patient, and confirmed that the unrecognizable patient was the African American intern, his intern colleagues were almost crazy. With such injuries, how could he be saved? When the African-American intern died after being disfigured beyond recognition, his fellow interns who knew the pressure he was under completely lost control and rushed towards the African-American mentor, punching him again and again. The African-American mentor was also completely stunned and did not put up any resistance at all. He just sat on the ground with his head in his hands, letting the intern vent his anger. At this time, he needed these punches just like the crazy intern. Please, I have something to do these 2 days, so there may be only 2 chapters a day, and the updates may not be on time. Please forgive me. Chapter 825. The storm hits the medical center. Changing room. Dr. House is in trouble now. Christina saw that Adam and the others were always talking about her, so she rolled her eyes and began to change the subject. What kind of trouble could he have? Adam glanced at her. Princeton Teaching Hospital is the center of the storm, and his teaching attitude is much stricter than mine. Christina smiled. At the last small gathering of experts, she watched the confrontation between Adam and Dr. House with a cold eye. In her eyes, Dr. House was in big trouble, and Adam must be happy. You are not him. Adam naturally saw through her thoughts and remained unmoved. He was not the kind of person who gloated over other people's misfortunes. Of course I am not him. Christina looked at the arc of Adam's mouth and couldn't help rolling her eyes. He may be in some trouble, but it's not a big problem. Adam shook his head. Why? Christina looked at Adam with a look of pity. Because he's good enough. Adam laughed. Although the 3 doctors under him hate his weirdness and inhumanity, they really respect his level. If someone really talks to them, they won't say bad things about Dr. House. Yes, of course, the premise is that it won't threaten their careers. Can you compare with him now? Can you completely convince your interns with your technology, so that they can't help but speak for you at this moment even though they obviously hate you? Originally, I could, Christina complained, but after you came, it's definitely not possible. Looking at Christina's expression of "you ruined my chance to be a good person," Adam was speechless. But it's not right to say that she is unreasonable at all, because Adam is a mentor resident with perfect technology and teaching. This indirectly raises the difficulty for people like Christina who like to go to technical school. Why are other people's mentors of high level and good attitude, but your level is not as good as other people's mentors and your attitude is so bad? No comparison, no harm. This will greatly reduce the threshold for other interns to tolerate the technical and cold flow of Christina. Inform your interns later, and let's get together tonight. Adam thought for a moment and suggested, Meredith, your interns can come too. Okay. Meredith nodded and smiled. Christina lowered her head and touched her neck, too embarrassed to look at the 2 of them. She naturally understood why Adam did this. Christina, Meredith reminded. I know, I remember it all, Christina said embarrassedly. Adam, thank you. Change it later. Adam said helplessly, I thought you were always benchmarking me. Since you want to benchmark, then benchmark thoroughly. Okay? You are so arrogant, Christina complained, and then looked at Adam. I know. Yeah. Adam nodded and smiled. Whether it is the legendary Dr. Gray or the legendary Dr. House, they are not good-tempered. But what we have to do is not to become them, but to surpass them. It is challenging in medical technology, but it is too easy to surpass them in terms of people and things. As long as we are a little more normal and humane, we can be them. Isn't this good? Even for you. It's not too difficult, right? As long as you don't deliberately imitate their way of doing things, it shouldn't be difficult. Christina was speechless. But from her little eyes, it can be seen that this time, she listened. There is no way. This time, the suicide by jumping on the track really touched her. It turns out that teaching is not something that can be accomplished by being strict. She doesn't want to become that excellent resident mentor who sits on the ground and gets beaten, and doesn't even want to resist. Adam smiled with relief. Finally, the reason why he reminded Christina again and again and tirelessly, it's because Christina contributed wisdom and strength to him. He recognized her as a friend. As a friend, it is normal for friends to nag a few more times on such things. Adam. At this time, Dr. Bailey, who looked haggard, walked in. I want to ask you for a favor. What is it? Adam nodded. Here you go. Dr. Bailey handed a bunch of keys to Adam. I thought about it all night and finally figured it out. From now on, The free clinic will be handed over to you. Listen to me first. The free clinic is indeed my ideal, but after the incident with little George, I completely realized one thing. People must give up something in order to gain something. I can't have everything in my hands. The operating room, the free clinic, the chief resident, the family, and little George. I have to give up some things. And I thought about it again and again, and decided to give up the free clinic and the chief resident. In the future, I will be a pure surgeon and a good mother. As for the free clinic, I will only trust you. This was originally established with your help. Please don't refuse. Okay. Adam took the keys and didn't refuse. By the way, Dr. Bailey looked at Christina and Meredith again. If you have any problems in the future, either find Kelly or Adam. Don't find me, because I will be the same in the future. Got it? Christina and Meredith nodded in unison. Although Dr. Bailey was not the chief resident before, many doctors, including Christina, actually prefer to go to Dr. Bailey when they have something to do. Dr. Bailey is not the chief resident in name, but he is the chief resident in reality. That's it, Dr. Bailey said, nodded to Adam, turned around and left. I hope this is a good start. Adam smiled. Doctors are really not suitable for starting a family. Meredith sighed. Christina nodded in agreement. The news hotspots are really all in one wave. In the morning, although some people in the hospital are still talking about the sensational intern suicide incident last night, more people are focusing on Mark Sloan and the anti-Mark Sloan Nurses Alliance. After all, this incident is just as sensational and is just around the corner. Taking advantage of this atmosphere, the anti-Mark Sloan Nurses Alliance finally took action. They united all the nurses and refused to work with Mark Sloan. Without nurses, Mark Sloan could not perform surgery. Even the director of surgery was useless. The once confident playboy now looked like he had been hit by frost, completely withered. For a whole day, he just sat there, watching the busy crowd. Dr. Bailey walked past him several times, wanting to say something but stopping himself. Until nightfall, Dr. Bailey couldn't stand it anymore, so he stood in front of him. Do you know you are wrong? I know. Mark Sloan smiled bitterly. Do you want to resume the surgery? Dr. Bailey asked. I never thought about it. Mark Sloan looked at Dr. Bailey eagerly. Can you help me? I can't. I don't care about these things anymore. Dr. Bailey shook his head and said, but you can go to Adam. As long as he is willing to help you, you can get through it. He is willing to help me? Mark Sloan hesitated. Don't think of Adam as you, Dr. Bailey said unhappily. There's a reason why he's supported by so many people in the medical center. I don't know about your previous conflicts, but I know it's definitely not his fault. As long as you don't anger him again, he won't be your friend, but he will definitely not be your enemy. So, if you know you're wrong and are willing to change, go find him. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.